Live to tonight's Craftsman Truck Series race at the Darlington Raceway, our first race for the Truck Series in 3 weeks. And this week, of course, at Darlington, the 1/3 mile oval, it's going to be a fun one. They call it the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. We're going to be seeing drivers on the edge of control throughout the course of today's race. And not only that, we're going to see a stacked field on top of that. We have Corey Heim, of course, the defending series champion, back in the field running part-time across the O'Reilly Cup and Truck Series schedules this season. We've got a few drivers pulling not just double but triple duty this weekend, like the likes of Carson Hocevar, Christopher Bell, and Ross Chastain will be in the field this evening. Caden Honeycutt going to be starting on the pole, looking for his first career win in the same truck that Corey Heim had won double-digit races last season and won a championship. And of course, the battle for the championship itself continues on as we pick up where we left off a few weeks ago. Now, this is the first traditional oval that we have seen so far in the Truck Series season. We had two drafting-style ovals at Daytona and Atlanta the first 2 weeks of the season. Then week 3 and race 3 was on a street course layout, and the first ever race of which in St. Petersburg. So as we go to Darlington, they have not raced a traditional oval in the Truck Series like the O'Reilly and Cup Series have between the West Coast swing of Las Vegas and Phoenix the last couple of weeks. It's going to be interesting to see who will show a lot of speed in the race today. We did see a little bit of practice and qualifying, which wrapped up a little over an hour ago, and Caden Honeycutt, as I mentioned already, qualified on the front row, on the pole, in fact. Tricon Garage looking very strong in qualifying. They have all of their trucks inside the top 5, all 4 of which Carson Hocevar, the only outlier for Spire Motorsports. We've seen him race and qualify well in a couple of races he's ran this season, including Atlanta, which was the last race he ran in the Truck Series, where he finished second to that of his teammate that day, Kyle Busch. We have not seen a repeat winner in this series, but we have seen Front Row Motorsports win 2 of the first 3 races this season. The only truck regulars to go to victory lane were those 2 Front Row Motorsport drivers, Chandler Smith and Lane Riggs. So we'll see if somebody else can break through to victory lane, or maybe Front Row Motorsports has a shot to go for their 3rd. Appreciate everybody tuning in here this evening. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. We do live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend for Truck, O'Reilly, and Cup Series racing. Remote location for this weekend's streams. I will be back at home again for next weekend's live commentary streams, but for this weekend, again, remote location, just like I was last week. So no diecast showing at the end of stage 2, unfortunately, but I do have some Blaney get up for when the race begins on Sunday. We have live commentary coverage a few times this weekend. Obviously, this is the first truck race, and the first time we've actually streamed on a Friday since Speed Week at Daytona. We had the Truck Series racing on Saturday for both the Atlanta and for the 3rd race of the year at St. Petersburg. So Friday night race back for the Truck Series. They're actually going to be off again next weekend when O'Reilly Cup goes to Martinsville. So kind of a spotty beginning portion of the season for 2025. Not really front-loading the schedule as much as what they are adding more races in the summer compared to what we've seen in recent years for the truck side. But I'm excited for tonight's race. Hopefully you all are too. Shout outs to those of you tuning into the stream. We got Wade, Terry Lewis, Bam Hall, Chris Davis, Thomas Rupp, Jerry Marty. Who else we got here? Marcus Villarreal, thanks for tuning in as well. Early poll in the chat. We have 10 votes. I just put the poll up like 15 minutes before the start of today's stream. You'll have until the end of stage 2 per usual to vote for who you think is going to win. With the stacked field, I put my favorites in at the top of the screen. I got Corey Heim, Carson Hocevar, Christopher Bell. Surprisingly, nobody has picked Bell yet for the win. 25% taking somebody other than those 3, more than likely a truck regular, to go for the win. There is a Ross Chastain in the field today as well, so there could be maybe another Cup regular that I just couldn't fit on the list, and I couldn't not put Corey Heim there because how gosh darn good he is in the Truck Series. Corey LaJoie is going to be racing for Dodge Ram tonight. AJ Allmendinger, another Cup regular in the field today. He is running for Colleague Racing in a Dodge Ram. He'll be rolling off 22nd. We usually don't see AJ Allmendinger in the Truck Series, especially on an oval, but we get to see that in full-fledged tonight. 36 drivers on the starting grid for this race. In the booth on Fox Sports 1, it looks like it's an all-drivers broadcast for this evening. In the booth side of things, you got Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, who will be on the call. You'll get to listen at various moments throughout the course of the event there also. So waiting for them to tune in trackside so we can get the national anthem and the command to begin tonight's action. If they haven't shown it already. I don't think they had a pre-race like usual tonight for the Truck Series on Fox Sports 1. So I'm not sure if that was televised or not. First of two races at Darlington for the Cup Series side, but this is the only truck event at Darlington in 2026. Triple Truck Challenge actually starts tonight. 3 races for that Triple Truck Challenge will be Darlington, Rockingham, and Bristol, which would be the next 3 races on the truck schedule. $50,000 bonus to the winner of tonight's race, $150,000 if you can win 2 of the 3 races. You sweep all 3, $500,000 bonus, and that is only awarded to the Truck Series regulars or drivers going for Truck Series points. So the likes of Carson Hocevar, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, they will not be able to compete for that grand prize. Or bonus money, if you will, for their sake. Gonna turn it trackside now. National anthem about to begin.
Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for the track Too Tough to Tame. And we thank you so much for the freedom that we have to be able to come here to enjoy NASCAR Truck Series racing. Please be with our men and women around the world and at home as they protect our freedoms. And Father, tonight we thank you for the drivers, for the teams, for the officials. We thank you so much for the staff here at the Speedway, the fans that have come out to watch this race. And we ask that you might be honored and glorified in everything we do in the midst of all the excitement. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Senior Trooper for South Carolina Highway Patrol, Matthew Galovich.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars we were so gallantly gleaming, and the rockets ran still get. Oh, say does that star-spangled
Nice crowd on hand for a Friday night truck race in Darlington, South Carolina. Kind of fitting that they have a state patrol officer given the national anthem for the titled sponsored Buckle Up South Carolina 200 here tonight at Darlington. Joe Rochester, thanks for tuning in as well. Robert Goodrich, Ethan Chua, a couple others that were tuning in here a little bit after the initial pre-race. Wade stating in the chat, yeah, AJ Allmendinger's first truck start since 2021. It has been some time since we've seen him in the truck series. Kind of curious to see how he does tonight. And obviously running with colleague. Just weird to see him in a Dodge because we only have Dodge Ram in the trucks at this point in time. Obviously their return season. Our like goal for tonight's stream is going to be to get to 50 likes, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. We're already at 21. The race hasn't even started yet, so hopefully we get to 50 and maybe we can raise that up from there at that point. We'll go through the starting lineup to begin tonight's race, starting with the front row. Caden Honeycutt on the pole, still searching for career win number 1. Carson Hosevar, runner-up in his last outing in the Truck Series at Atlanta. He'll be starting on the front row in second, his second front row start of the Truck Series season. Tanner Grant and Gio Ruggiero will line up in row number 2 as the Tricon Garage teammates, and behind them will be defending series champion Corey Heim and another former truck champion Christopher Bell. Ty Majeski alongside Lane Riggs will be in row 4. Riggs, the winner in the last race in the Truck Series in St. Petersburg. Ross Chastain, another Cup regular in the field, will start in row 5 on the inside, and Connor Mosack in the Spire Motorsports 7 to the outside. And series veteran Grant Enfinger in row 6 alongside Chandler Smith, the Daytona season opener winner. Stuart Fries and Daniel Hemrick looking for their first wins of 2026 in row 7. Ben Rhodes, the 2-time series champion, alongside Christian Eckes in row number 8. Cole Butcher in the 13, along with Tyler Ankrum in the 18 in row number 9. Row 10, Connor Jones and Corey LaJoie. LaJoie, of course, a part-time drive for himself in that Dodge Ram this season. Andres Perez alongside AJ Allmendinger, another Cup regular in the field as mentioned moments ago, will be in row 11. Row 12 will be Jake Garcia, Dawson Sutton. Behind them, row 13, Justin Haley and Timmy Hill. William Sawalich with Chris Wright will be in row 14. Row 15 will be rookie Butterbean Queen and Minnie Tyrell. Josh Reaume alongside Spencer Boyd, in row 16. Row 17 will be Clayton Green, Justin Carroll. And rounding out the field in row 18, Caleb Costner and Frankie Muniz. Again, a 36 truck field for tonight's race. Our scheduled distance, 147 laps, 200 miles. Pretty short race here tonight. And what's actually kind of crazy about the distance at Darlington when we do run the truck at O'Reilly Series, they're actually the same race lengths. So although this might be a short race tonight, by all comparisons to the O'Reilly race, which is usually slightly longer than the truck races, being the same length tomorrow, faster cars, that one's going to fly by even more so. Appreciate everybody tuning in again. Friday night, we don't usually have a lot of Friday night streams anymore in the NASCAR realms, but this is one of them, and appreciate you all tuning in on what may be a nightly notice where you did not know there might have been any NASCAR racing going on. Diehards obviously would, but maybe casual fans or people who don't necessarily watch the Truck Series on a week-to-week basis, not too familiar with how their schedule works. It's like Austin Cinder caught up with Carson Hosevar before the national anthem.
Truck race tonight, usually pretty fun to watch. Saw you talking to the sitter tonight, talking about lane to choose. What advice did you give?
I recommend the bottom. Normally around the bottom. So hopefully he chooses the bottom and helps himself. You know what I mean?
Would you see? I was talking to him before he came out, right? He told me he was just gonna dust you off the launch. What do you think about that?
I believe it. His stuff's pretty good. I'm hoping I can stick with him though, and he can maybe hit that bump, and maybe get a little nervous and bottom out, maybe make a mistake. So hopefully we'll just make him nervous the whole time and be next to him.
Me and everybody at the production crew appreciate you making this clean interview. Production crew? No. For the deduction crew.
There you go.
Left this a clean interview because your last one wasn't. So this is actually taped. This isn't live. So, good job. Good one tonight. This is it. This is it. Okay, this is it. This is what we got. This is something. No, it's fine. Just don't miss this up. Back to the booth.
Well, we had to tape Hosevar's interview because he cussed on the qualifying broadcast earlier, so we didn't.
Oh, nice.
Carson, I feel like that interview with Austin was a little bit different than it would have been a year ago, but because he's raced with everybody so long. I mean, what do you think we expect out of Carson tonight?
I don't think he's giving any pointers to the car that's starting on the floor when he's right next to him. Trust everything that's being said right there as far as giving pointers and advice on how to beat me. I don't know if I would totally give that.
Well, I definitely agree with you on that. I think that there was a little bit of gamesmanship happening right there. But Hosevar, he's going to be in the mix tonight. We're going to have a lot to talk about with Carson as we go through the night. But let's go downstairs to get this race started and the command.
Darlington Raceway, please welcome Robert Woods, the Director of South Carolina's Department of Public Safety. He is here tonight to give the command to fire engines. Drivers, start your engines!
All right, there you have it. Engines are fired. We went through the starting lineup already. Now let's head through the point standings. Again, it's been a couple of weeks since the Truck Series has been in action. 3 races in the books out of 25 in the year 2026. Chandler Smith, with the season opening race win at Daytona, still leads the points. He's got a 34-point cushion over 2-time series champion Ben Rhodes and a 1-time series champion Ty Majeski sitting third in the standings, 50 out of first. You could score as many as 75 points in a single race, really 76 if you have the fastest lap bonus point award, and then you win both stages and win the race. So quite a few drivers, obviously with only being 3 races into the season, more often than not, you're going to see pretty tight cushion amongst the top of the leaderboard, unless it's the Cup Series this year where Tyler Reddick wins the first 3 races and he's already got a 1 race lead cushion after 3 races. But usually that's not the case. So after 3 races here in the truck side, as of right now, mathematically, 7 different drivers could take the points lead by the end of the race today. Outside of Ben Rhodes, Ty Majeski in the top 3, you got Jiro Ruggiero sitting in 4th. Lane Riggs, who got the win in St. Petersburg, also a stage win that day, a pretty solid stage. And points paying performance total gained him 18 spots after a rough start in the first 2 races at Atlanta and Daytona. So up to 5th. Caden Honeycutt sitting 6th. He's on the pole again here tonight. Andres Perez 7th. Stuart Friesen 8th. Christian Eckes 9th. And Justin Haley for Dodge Ram rounds out the top 10. 10 drivers will make the chase for the Truck Series when we get to the end of the regular season. This is only an 18-race regular season for trucks because it's only a 25-race season. So with that being said, only 15 races to go until that begins. So the heat is on, even this early in the year. You don't want to start too far back. Obviously, even in the Cup side, you don't want to start too far back because the competition is at an all-time high. But if you start too far back and say the Truck Series, you don't have a lot of races to try to make that up. So it was big on Lane Riggs to have a massive day in St. Petersburg a couple weeks ago. Am I watching on Hulu Live or what? Yes, on Hulu. I actually watch all my races on Hulu. Races, sports, anything. My TV is Hulu, essentially. I was a little bit behind on the broadcast. I just jumped to live. So if you're wondering if there was a little bit more of a delay, that could have been it. But they're still under commercial anyway, so I wasn't too far behind. Yeah, it's on Hulu, Fox Sports 1, of course. All right. Got almost 40 people in the chat. Pretty good for the Truck Series, especially because this thing hasn't even started yet. Frank Powers, thanks for tuning in. Darlington picks in for the KRC League. No, I don't put my fantasy team in until after practice and qualifying every week. I got to see how the cars unload. Obviously, if I were to put it in advance, I could still adjust it before the drop of the green flag on Sunday, but I don't even bother putting it in until after qualifying. It's one thing to know how drivers are doing recently and how they are at a specific racetrack, but I'd still like to see the cars on track first. Maybe somebody doesn't qualify particularly well and there's a short first stage some weeks. I'm like, I don't know. They're not going to score a lot of stage points. I don't think I want them on my team. So that kind of factors in. Wayne Martin, thanks for tuning in, taking Christopher Bell all the way. Well, here is Christopher Bell getting dialed up in the booth by Ryan Blaney.
It's a race. The other race tonight. Cup race on Sunday. What do you think of your chances for tonight?
So welcome for the extra 20-25 laps to you. We'll be watching up at the booth. Have a good night.
Well, if he's got somebody that he wants to judge himself off of, it's the guy right next to him, and I think that he could be a good one to talk to as well. So let's dial up Corey Heim.
Let's do it. See if we give him a hard time.
Corey Heim, Drew Logano, Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick up here in the Fox booth. You got us?
Yeah, man, I got you. All right, man. I don't want to start any rumors, so we just talked to Bill, and he said Heim time's over. He said you're in trouble tonight. What do you think about that? Yeah, point on something about the fence here on the first line. Thinking about it, man. I feel like in practice we were close. Definitely thought, slick conditions as opposed to here in the daytime at Darlington, but I feel like this nighttime, conditions will help us a little bit, but had some work to do as well. So, kind of eager to see how we end up, and yeah, excited, man. I really thankful for Frontliner, Toyota, Tricon, and always look over this place.
All right, don't wreck Bell. I was just kidding. That was a joke. He didn't say anything like that. So good luck in there. Running one blue.
So obviously Corey Heim not running full-time in the Truck Series this season. He was not at St. Petersburg and having the two drafting oval races at Daytona and Atlanta to start the year. He's not broken through to victory lane yet in 2026, but I'm curious to see how he does here this evening. He did get to run the Daytona 500 in February, and he also ran an O'Reilly race at Daytona already this season. Also had a pretty good outing there. All right. Checking pit road speeds right now, so they'll be getting the 1 to go signal the following lap. Once more, 4 Cup regulars in the field. There are at least 6 drivers in the truck race today who will be pulling at least double duty this weekend because Timmy Hill's actually running the Cup race as well. And Chris Wright will be seeing tomorrow in the O'Reilly Series also. And if I'm forgetting anybody else, you'll have to let me know in the chat. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody else, but just in case. Might have skipped somebody in my notes. Looking at the stage points scored this year, it really is a hard-nosed subject to have to dial it in practice and qualifying, get a good starting position for the race, and then run well from start to finish because Chandler Smith has scored the most stage points of any driver this year, and he's finishing the top 10 in all 3 races to start the season. That's why he's got the 34-point cushion over his, well, I wouldn't say rival, but over series veteran Ben Rhodes in second place in the point standings. And Rhodes hasn't been a slouch this year either. He's got 2 top 5s. Had a great run in both the road course / street course race in St. Petersburg, and then in the second race of the year at Atlanta, he led the most laps in that race, actually like quite a few at Daytona as well. And Ben Rhodes, after the first 3 races of the season, 93 laps led on the year. Oddly enough, Chandler Smith, 15 laps led on the year despite having the 1 win and finishing the top 10 the first 3 races, scoring all those stage points. He's not leading a lot of laps. He was able to steal the win late and had 4 wide move headed into the Tri-Oval in that season opener at Daytona. He actually won a stage that day as well, so right place at the right time, but when you find yourself up in the top 5 consistently, like Chandler Smith has been able to do so far this season, or even for Ben Rhodes' sake because he's getting top 5 finishes, good things will come. Consistency does matter more now than what we've seen over the last decade plus here in NASCAR, and that goes across the top 3 series as a whole. Again, 147 laps, 200 miles for the scheduled distance tonight, 45 laps in both Stage 1 and Stage 2, 57 laps in Stage 3. Same stage splits for the O'Reilly race tomorrow as well, with the same race length. Pit road speed is 45 miles per hour, fuel window 57 laps, but because of the amount of tire degradation we will see today at Darlington with this very old, very worn out, very bumpy surface, tires are going to matter way more than what fuel is going to be. So you're not going to see these teams try to push it a full fuel run. If we do see a caution comes out, we're going to have pit stops at an abundance. Whole field all at once. AJF, JoJo, thanks for tuning in. Just saw you popping in the chat. Our like goal was 50 before the start of the stream, and we're at 36 already. So we may have to move that like goal up. Thank you so much for hitting the like button if you have done so so far. Be sure to do so we can try to get to that goal as quickly as we can. Maybe even set a new goal sometime maybe early in this race. Subscribe for more NASCAR content, live commentary streams for Truck O'Reilly Cup Series racing all season long. as well as Cup practice and qualifying. We'll be live for that tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, Cup practice and qualifying for the Goodyear 400. The race on Sunday will be our next live commentary stream at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. And the O'Reilly race tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Same start times we had last weekend out in Vegas for the Saturday doubleheader stream. And we're going to have that again here this weekend. Cup side will be live at 2:30 on Sunday, beginning with our pre-race show. More on that at that time, because right now it's time to go trucking. Lights are out on the pace truck, and that will be headed to pit road this time by Caden Honeycutt elects the inside of road number 1. Unique paint scheme this weekend with the Safe Light Toyota Tundra. He's got flames on the car. You put flames on a race car, I feel like it just makes it that much faster. Is that going to help Caden Honeycutt here this evening? Consistent enough to make the championship 4 a season ago, but still looking for his first career win. Will it come tonight? He's got a strong field to try to hold off. Green flag is in the air. Our first of 3 races on this race weekend in Darlington, South Carolina is underway. Carson Hocevar kind of stumbling on the start, spinning those rear tires. Not able to get going into the first turn, and he is cleared by each of the first 3 cars in the inside lane. Looks like it might be side-by-side for second up off the exit of turn 2 as well. Nearly brushing the wall up on the outside of the racetrack was Tanner Gray in the 15. Might have costed him a spot as Carson Hocevar was able to pull off that crossover move after initially stumbling on the start, getting up to speed. Quickly regathers to second while Honeycutt leads the opening lap of the race. Second lap has 3 wide into turns 1 and 2. That's not something you see at Darlington every day. That's right around Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, and a little contact up out of turn 2 between Majeski and it looked like Ross Chastain in the 45 truck. Just underneath of him. Chastain will slide in front of Majeski, clear up off the exit of turn 4. Majeski now just going to push Chastain all the way down the front stretch. Not wanting to lift and give up any extra momentum. And we got a crash at the back entering turn 1. One truck up against the wall, and it is the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Problems early for the 99 truck, Thor Sport Racing's Ben Rhodes. Second in the series points early in the season. He has can-kicked the wall with the right side of his race truck, and there is quite significant damage.
Well, let's see what happened right here with Ben Rhodes. It appears that that left front tire got cut down. Oh,
Ouch.
then straight into the fence.
Left front tire failure for Ben Rhodes, and right on corner entry into turn 1. Nothing he could do but to hold on for the ride. A pretty hard hit against the outside wall, and it looks to have broken some suspension in the right front of that race truck. There's going to be quite a bit of repair needed, and that's even if he could continue on. If he ends up with a last place finish today, it's definitely going to drop him out of the top 2 in points, and with how tight I mentioned, really, 1st through 7th is in the points. He could drop out of the top 5 pretty easily in the standings after tonight. And that just goes to show one bad race. After, having 2 top 5s and leading the most laps in the series this season, 2nd in points, kind of throw that away. And an early exit is worse than a late exit, because an early exit, you can't get any stage points to kind of salvage a poor finishing result. It's going to be a 1-point performance for him if he finishes in last place. The hope is that they can get repairs made to keep that truck on the racetrack. It's not going to be anywhere raceable for a good finish, but to hopefully outlast more trucks that may DNF later and get a couple of those points back at the very least. But we'll keep an eye on Ben Rhodes. I don't think he's going to be able to continue. He pancaked the wall very, very hard with that right front. Just the way it was kind of bent in and towed with the top of the right front tire pointed inward towards the motor, that's never a good sign. Maybe get away with that on a flat racetrack where the camber is just that much swayed in general, but not at Darlington. That's not going to work. Now, they can't go to the garage area, then return to the racetrack a little later, which they may try to make those fixes. Another problem with these races in the Truck and O'Reilly series, they're so much shorter than the Cup side that the time to try to fix the damage after an incident like this is a lot more minimal as well to get back out there. Dean Tate, welcome to the stream. Shuttlebug5, also welcome to the stream. Connor Burke as well. FS1 is not working. I literally just had something pop up on my screen that there was like an error that occurred, and then I logged out of Hulu and logged back in and everything was fine. So it must have been a Fox Sports 1 issue. Maybe they lost their feed or something. It was for a very short bit. It was during the commercial break too, so of all times to have that happen, guess that'd be the best time.
In football, here's your answer. The United Football League returns with a new season of real pro football. Don't miss UFL kickoff weekend, March 27th through the 29th. Fox and ESPN. I like it. Good job. Nailed it. Man.
Nailed it.
Well, you see Ben Rhodes going to the garage right here. Obviously, he wasn't happy. He felt like you'll see him. That's how we talk right there with our hands, and you can see that somebody obviously pinched him up into the fence or cut that left front tire down. One or the other. It's hard to tell, but without seeing the video. But I think you see his new crew chief right there, Cale Gale. He actually drove our KHI cars back in the day.
I used to race against Cale Gale in late models, and I was in the race. Remember, he won that truck race in Homestead?
That's right.
In, I think, 2013, possibly. And Cale was a heck of a wheelman.
Yeah, so his first week with Ben Rhodes as the crew chief on that 99 truck, but driver of the 99 not happy.
That's a real heartbreaker. You know, you come down here, you practice, you qualify, you get ready for the race, you want to go at least see what your truck has. The real bummer part about it is you don't even know how to make it better next time because you don't know what you had in the race. So it just sets you back for more than one race when you come back here next time.
Well, another guy that's been racing pretty hard is Ross Chastain. And it's not that we don't expect Ross Chastain to race hard, but it's still pretty early. You see him up the racetrack right there and kind of squeezes his way almost up the racetrack in front of Ty Majeski into a pretty tight hole right there. But then does it again right over here off of turn 4, and Ty said, well, I'm going to make you think about this all the way into turn 1. Stays right on his bumper, pushes him into turn 1. So some pretty close calls right there for Ross.
I think Ross was just puckered up all the way down the straight. Like I said, I hope he lets go. You see a tight squeeze in there. He's trying to get in there. I mean, it is lap, 1.5 at that moment.
Let's hear some radio from the 45.
Oh.
Take a look. Right at this thing. Big front and right rear. Not to get pushed. Be good.
Well, everything looks good from here, Ross. If you need anything, let us know. But no damage. Got away with just a little scratch right there on the back bumper. Or is that a tow hook? I can't tell.
A little scratch, but
A little
I
scratch.
think it looks pretty good.
No tow
If
hook.
it looks like that at the end of the night, it's not good. Oh yeah, look at that. The rear is flared out just a little bit. Oh, that might have actually helped him.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing though to see if you're doing
But extra side force. Yep.
Definitely be needed here as the tires wear out. Something I see there too, you see two of the Cup guys, two of the aggressive Cup guys too, Ross Chastain, Kirsten Hocevar on lap 1. They are racing to get that track position. They think that's, yes, it's aggressive. Some would say, yes, lap 1, what are you doing? Well, the flip side to that is if you can get some track position, you can manage your truck for the long run. If you get stuck back there in 8th, 10th, 5th, somewhere further back, you got to use tires to pass those trucks throughout the run. So if you can get a couple early being aggressive, then you're going to get a reward. It is early though, so that would be the other side of the argument. But everybody races different, and that's why it's fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think that those guys know that if they let Honeycutt just get out there and lead this thing, he's going to probably drive off on the long run because his truck was really good in practice. Now, they did practice during the day.
and we are racing at night. So we could see, they've obviously all made some adjustments on their trucks, but we do have different conditions.
So now I'm interested to watch this restart here. If you look at the front row when we get back to that shot, you're going to see kind of the same front row we had to start the race with Honeycutt on the inside, Hocevar on the outside. Hocevar, he spun his tires on the initial start. It's going to be even easier to spin your tires, right? Harder to hook them up on this start. Maybe he'll find a little bit of an adjustment to try to, ease to the throttle a little bit better, possibly now that he knows it's coming his way. I'll be interested to see if that, top lane hangs a little better this time or not.
Also want to note that nobody came to pit road up in the top half of the field after just about a lap and a half to 2 laps worth of green flag racing. You want to pit as much as you can at Darlington, but with the limited set of tires for both the truck and O'Reilly series, you don't want to waste a set after just 2 laps. So green flag is back in the air. We're underway. Carson Hocevar, a better restart than he had before, but still not great. Can't keep up with Honeycutt into the first turn. Tanner Gray going to try to go for the lead underneath of him. And here comes the 5, Corey Heim. Challenging for the lead on his former ride, Caden Honeycutt, a big block down the back straightaway on Carson Hocevar, who's looking to get them both at the same time. And despite that sharp angled entry into turn 3, Heim will still clear Honeycutt for the lead, and it's Heim time early on at Darlington. Lap 10 will lead his first lap of the race after Honeycutt led the first 8. 2 Toyotas lead the field for Tricon Garage while they still have all of their trucks inside the top 10 early on. Lowest running of the 4 of them is Gio Ruggiero, who has just dropped to 7th off of this restart. They all qualified up inside the top 5. Lane Riggs is trying to rocket up to the front of the field now as he pulls in a huge slide job maneuver into turns 3 and 4 to get by Ruggiero, dropping Gio back another position. Ty Majeski going backwards on the restart as well into 9th place, losing a couple more spots as he lost those couple initial spots at the get-go as well. Christopher Bell rocketing up to 3rd quietly, looking to make some noise early. Honeycutt wanting the lead back on Corey Heim, who seems to be struggling at least with the short run side of things. Honeycutt tried to attack for the lead in turns 3 and 4, failed to make a pass attempt or at least stay to the inside of Heim, and in doing so lost momentum off turn 4. Christopher Bell kept his momentum up and will snatch 2nd place away from Honeycutt into turn 1. And Honeycutt could lose 3rd place to Carson Hocevar as well. Carson up the inside off turn 2, drag race down the back straightaway headed for turn 3, and Tanner Gray is also pursuing very quickly behind as Honeycutt will drop back to 4th place now after leading just about 2.5 laps ago. Top 5 in the running order now has Corey Heim in the lead, Christopher Bell 2nd, Carson Hocevar 3rd, 4th is Caden Honeycutt, Tanner Gray rounding out the top 5 and 5th. That is on lap 13 of 45 in stage 1. Early caution for Ben Rhodes, cutting a left front tire and smacking the outside wall in turns 1 and 2, knocking him out of the race. He was out of his car already, so last place finish for Ben Rhodes. Again, came in 2nd place in the point standings entering the night, so a tough break for that 99 Thor Sport Racing team this evening. After a great and promising start to the first 3 races. Slide job maneuver on a crossover attempt by Corey Heim to get back to the lead after Christopher Bell ripping the outside is going to get by both of them, and now we have a spinner towards the back of the pack. The 1 of William Sawalich is around. Makes a save. There's not a lot of damage on that race truck, and I'm not sure if contact may have started the spin or not. But Sawalich is around.
14 laps or so on your tires. We had a caution there. Maybe there's, maybe 8 laps, 9 green flag laps on your tires. That's not going to help his tires. He's finished anyways. Do you want to waste? You can have 1 burner set, if you will. You have 1 extra set. I don't think I want to use it quite yet, but maybe if you're in the back and you're looking to get track position, it'd be a gutsy call, but if you got nothing to lose, maybe you take a look at it.
Let's see if we can find a replay right here of what happened. Looks like he's probably going to get arrow loose. Yeah, just gets in there, gets free underneath the 42. It's kind of in a weird arrow spot, right? 2 guys in front of him. He probably entered and the front didn't turn, and then he got in a really bad spot, and then the side force was taking him out, ended up spinning around. Good job of saving it, though. Damaged tires. Got to re-wreck, go again.
inside the 16 truck of Justin Haley right here. Yeah, and I didn't when they split like that. It put him in a real spot, and then he realized that he was going to slide up into the outside truck right there. William was running 22nd right there when he had that spin. Austin, what do you have down there?
Yeah, guys, standing here with Ben Rhodes. Obviously, this is never the fun part. Ben, we don't have too many great angles of what happened there, but obviously early in the race, a lot of damage. What you got?
Yeah, the 18 Tyler Ingram tried to clear himself in front of me, coming off of turn 4, or just simply, used up too much room to track. His right rear hit our left front, broke the fender loose, and then going down the straightaway, I was fine. But as soon as I turned the wheel, that moved the tire into the fender and popped the tire instantly going into turn 1. So, not much I can do about that. I'm pretty angry about it, but I don't know what to do about it. A lot of these guys in the truck series have a bad habit of, if they think they're clear, they just go ahead and try to take it and hope the other guy lifts. But, my nose was there, I was there, and as we all know, the top prevails down the front stretch at Darlington. You have the momentum. So, just really disappointed in that. Really hate that for my team. Well, I think we had a really solid F-150 today. Even though we were starting where we were at, I think we would have had a really good race. So this puts us back in points and just bad showing. Yeah, not good.
Copy. Sorry about tonight, Ben. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Austin. Well, Ben's obviously frustrated with everything that happened with that situation. Is he entered today second in the points. So we all know the new chase format puts you in a position to where you got to get those points every week, and DNFs are not good.
No, they're not. Man, pit road's open here. I don't think we're gonna see many guys come in and put tires on it this early going, but saving them to the end. It's probably a good call. Well, we have had a very eventful night to start this race here at Darlington. Only get better from here. Thanks for joining. We'll see you back here in a little bit.
Yeah, you can tell that the guys in the booth don't exactly know what they're doing when they have to go to and from commercial or send it somewhere else. A little bit of a awkward pause at various times. God Rides a Harley, Kenneth Clark, Regine Huddleston. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Other shout-outs that I haven't been able to shout out yet. D Cork 9945. He's pulling for time and Jessica tonight. MC Antihero 96. Thanks for tuning in as well. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning in. Wins Cup qualifying tomorrow at 2:30. Practice will be at 2:30, so qualifying will be roughly just after 3:30 p.m. Eastern is when qualifying specifically will start, but we'll start our practice and qualifying stream at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. We're almost to our like goal of 50 likes already. We're only 1 like away. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. I try to double that at this point. I mean, we're only 17 laps into the race and we're almost at our like goal. So let's try to get to 100 likes tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I think that would be fantastic. You can vote for who you think is going to win tonight's race. Carson Hocevar leading the chat poll at 42% right now. Hocevar, or 42 votes at 38%. Carson Hocevar has on our poll. 24% of you taking Corey Heim for the win, 14% of Christopher Bell, and 23% of you saying somebody other than Hocevar, Bell, or Heim will go for the win. 43 votes now. Somebody voted for not Carson Hocevar because his percentage just dropped to 37% in the middle of me reading that. But again, you have until the end of stage 2 to vote for who you think is going to win. 2 cautions already in the first 17 laps of the race. 8 laps under yellow. We've had about as many caution laps as green flag laps, so a very start-stop start to this race. Couple of lead changes already, with Caden Honeycutt falling out of the lead to Corey Heim on the restart, and then Christopher Bell immediately before the caution came out, taking the lead away on the high side from Heim. Bell has been able to rip the high side better than anybody else and making several passes after starting 6th place to get to the lead in just the minimal amount of green flag laps we've seen this evening.
All right, brother Joe. Start here, which
the Cup Series, they don't have to deal with this much, but in the Truck Series, this is a little more common for them. But you see, Christopher Bell took the top.
Yeah, Bell going to take the outside of row number 1 on the restart. It's worked out well for him the first 2 starts, so he's going to take it for the restart. He is a control truck, too. That should help. Green flag is back in the air, although he's nose-to-nose for the race lead as they enter turn 1. And it ends up deeming as a mistake. He's going to be able to carry momentum out of turn 2, but for right now, it's going to be Corey Heim back out in front of him off the exit of turn 2. We'll see if Bell will try the crossover into 3. Couple trucks making contact in the middle of the pack. Scrambling for position. 3 wide down into turn 3, and right now in the middle is Lane Riggs. Of that 3 wide battle, I'm not sure if he was part of the couple of trucks that made contact. He was right around his teammate Chandler Smith. I wonder if maybe both front row trucks got together there. That could have been way worse of a situation for those 2 teammates. You already saw the second place driver in points go down early. Could you imagine if 2 more of the top 5 in points would have went down early, including Chandler Smith, who is the points leader entering tonight? So Corey Heim still leading, but it's not by much. Off of this restart, Christopher Bell is putting a pretty heavy attack on him. There's contact with Ty Majeski and Lane Riggs, it looked like, so not Chandler Smith. Majeski kind of sliding up right in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and Lane Riggs, slight piece of the wall. Great job to keep control of his race truck, and great job by everybody else behind, also checking up in time so there wasn't any piling into one another, trying to either miss a potential accident or unaware of what was going on in front of them. Nose to tail down the back straightaway, Christopher Bell will look to attack into turns 3 and 4. He took the lead in 1 and 2 when he passed Corey Heim the first time for the lead. After restarting on the front row of the outside, he is probably going to go to the inside if he has the control truck for any of the further restarts in this race. The good news is it was stage 1, and he's not racing for stage points in the truck series because he's a full-time Cup regular. So learn, maybe attempt something that you won't try to attempt later in the race in that same situation. Or learn from restarting on the front row if he's, say, in second place and has to choose the outside of row 1 for restart later on as well. A couple of ways to go about that. Ross Chastain, newcomer inside the top 5 since the restart, but the top 4 did not change outside of the change for the lead itself between Heim and Bell. But the drivers themselves staying the same 1 through 4. Not going to be long to set the longest green flag run of the race. Just a couple more laps to do so. Only about 6 laps consecutively our longest green flag run. I almost spoke too soon because there was a couple trucks getting together out of turn 2, as we're probably going to see a lot tonight. A lot of contact with aggressive battles for position all around the field. As well as contact with the wall, and that can cause cut tires. Cut tires could lead to incidents like we saw already with Ben Rhodes. Lap 25 of 45 in stage 1. So 20 laps to go in this first stage this time by. With those 3 lead changes we've seen already. All those laps ran under caution in the early going of the race tonight. Actually seen quite a few laps led amongst the 3 drivers that have led pretty evenly. Corey Heim has led the most with 10 laps, 6 for Christopher Bell and 8 for Honeycutt. I think Bell might have led 1 green flag lap, if that, because the caution came out very, very soon after he took the lead and then lost the lead on the restart. And now he's in danger of losing second to Carson Hocevar as he's not able to keep up with the long-run pace of the 5 truck of Corey Heim. In the pre-race, Bell was talking about being very, very loose in practice earlier. Nighttime skies should help with that. Cooler track conditions and track temperature. 66-degree ambient temperature for the drop of the green flag today. Obviously much warmer in the daytime earlier. And sunny, which will heat up the track itself. Bell loses that battle for second, and he's about to lose a battle for third because Caden Honeycutt's now all over him. Honeycutt showed the best long-run pace in practice earlier today. Even with the cooler track temps, obviously because it's Darlington, we're going to see a ton of tire fall off regardless. And a lot of slipping and sliding to go along with it. Christian Eckes made a pass for 5th place within the last couple laps on Ross Chastain. First time Eckes has entered the top 5. Most of the drivers that did start inside the top 10 are up there now, minus Eckes, who started 16th. He's the biggest mover of the race so far, I do believe. Pretty impressive to go up 11 positions at a track like Darlington, and considering the fact that green flag lap totals have only reached about 20 laps. Pretty quick. Cycle on their tires already as well. 0.8 of a second lead for Corey Heim over Carson Hocevar. Lap times between the two. Carson Hocevar was a bit faster that last lap, about 0.05 of a second quicker than Heim, so we'll monitor to see if that will be a consistent stretch. 96 degrees in Tulsa? Wow, very warm today. In March, it's not going to be touching 96 anywhere around me anytime soon, I can tell you that much. Northern Ohio. That's crazy. What times tomorrow? Tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern, will be live for Cup practice and qualifying, and then 5:30 p.m. Eastern for the O'Reilly race. I did put out a community tab post earlier today about the start times for this weekend streams as well, in case you forget. Side-by-side commercial break right now on Fox Sports 1. We'll go through the top 10 in the leaderboard. Corey Heim leads at lap 31. Carson Hocevar in second. Caden Honeycutt in third. Christian Eckes fourth. And Christopher Bell now dropping to fifth. Ross Chastain in 6th place. 7th place is Ty Majeski. Tanner Gray 8th. Lane Riggs 9th. And Gio Ruggiero rounds out the top 10. Those couple of early cautions, everybody that is on track is on the lead lap still. And Ben Rhodes the only truck not, as he is in the garage out of the race. And obviously Austin Cindric already caught up with him outside of the infield care center. Contact on track between Tyler Ankrum and Ben Rhodes on the second lap of the race, exiting turn 2, cutting that left front tire down. For Rhodes, entered the next corner, plowed the fence. Lap times are consistently quick for Carson Hocevar. It could be getting faster over the course of the longer run. Heim might have gotten out to too big of a lead too early. We've seen so much fall off already, even with the minimal green flag laps. Just over 20 green flag laps in the race, and we've seen fall off of over 2 seconds for our race leader, Corey Heim. His fastest lap, a 30.357. That last lap, he ran a 32.55. Caden Honeycutt from the pole position ran his fastest lap on lap 2 of a 29.837 and put down a 32.419 that last lap. That's over 2.5 seconds of fall off. We got more trouble on the racetrack, and I believe it's the 7 of Connor Mosack who's got some problems. Luckily enough for him, he is out of the way and onto pit road, so we stay green. And it's actually not Mosack in the 7, it's the 2 truck that has had a problem. Clayton Green towards the back of the pack. So Walsh putting fresh tires on after the spin that he had is up 16 positions since the restart to 18th, but having to burn a set of tires early in the race. Could come back to bite him later if he's down a set, if we see a lot of cautions in stage 3 especially. 10 laps to go in stage 1 this time by, and a battle for second place between Caden Honeycutt and Carson Hocevar. And it looks like Honeycutt has caught and ran down Hocevar. And now Christian Eckes is looking to put a battle on for third as well. And I wonder if there's some problems potentially brewing for that number 77 truck. 4th place now for the 77. And this time by, we have 9 laps to go in stage 1.
We're going to get closer to the end of this stage as we're watching this battle for the lead. And we were talking about it during the break. There's a lot of things on the line right here as you look at this battle with Corey Hyman leading, who has now led in his last 28 starts, tying Kyle Busch's record of most consecutive races led. So that's impressive, but he used to drive this 11 truck. What are all the scenarios here, Joey?
I mean, I think it's big. If you're Caden Honeycutt, you're trying to prove that you're a good race car driver, and you have the best truck out there. If you go off of stats, over the last couple of years, that Corey Hines was driving that 11 truck. And guess who's right in front of you? The guy that won all the races in a different truck up there. You're trying to prove that you're just as good as Corey Hyman. Oh yeah, Scott Cipodelli, the crew chief, he's trying to prove that, hey, it wasn't just the driver. I had a good car as well. Everyone's trying to prove themselves here. Yeah, someone I want to highlight as well, Christian Eckes. I mean, he's passed Majeski, Hocevar, Christopher Bell up to 30. He's really run these guys down quick. He's been 2 to 3 tenths faster than these guys every single lap. Austin, you got anything else on Christian Eckes?
Yeah, Ryan, you just totally took my moment there. I was going to talk 13 spots, but you took it great. So, the radio, this Ronnie, she's been really good here. They're doing really good off the long run street practice, and it's showing. They're up to first.
And he's ripping right now. I mean, he's, like you said, 2.5 to 3 tenths per lap. Just reeling them in. Not run out of time, though. And I want to say the migration of these top 3 cars in 3 and 4, they've been starting to run the apron. All of them are running the bottom. Time was running the top. Honeycutt was running down a little bit. He moved down to the bottom, and he's kind of stabilized the lead. And that's where Christian Eckes is running too. So we talked about different lanes, especially through 3 and 4, how they play, and it seems like everyone has found that this very, very bottom lane has been pretty dominant here to start this race.
Well, I think it's the cleanest, and you can see the difference in the rubber right there as people are starting to run that bottom lane. I used to like to take that right front tire and hook it on those hatch marks to kind of rip it around the corner right there. But as you go through 1 and 2 right here, as you see, Honeycutt has gotten right to the back bumper of Corey Hine. You see right there where Eckes is running behind these guys it's just cleaner, and that usually results in more grip.
When you see Honeycutt's getting closer to time, he's starting to feel the pressure of Eckes. And there's 4 to go here in the stage. He's going to try to move up the racetrack here. Don't want to follow him. Got to try something different. Could get a good run. Might not be enough to get to his quarter panel, but
well, we'll see if Honeycutt's going to try to make a move into turn 1. Kind of a bluff. He's going to try to get to the outside of Corey Heim in turns 1 and 2. This might not work out well. Heim blocks the top and evades to the bottom as he'll lose the lead, but it won't be to Honeycutt. It'll be to Eckes. Great move and great power out of that 91 truck, who has rocketed from the 16th place starting position in this opening stage to the lead. Christian Eckes surprising everybody here this evening. Obviously a multiple-time winner in the Craftsman Truck Series, but I don't think anybody expected Eckes, the part-time driver, to go up here and compete. Maybe a part-time driver like a Corey Heim or one of the Cup regulars, but people may have been sleeping on this 91 camp. He gets to the lead, and he is running away with it with a couple laps to go in stage 1. 8 positions since the last restart alone that he was able to pick up after he restarted in 9th. Lane Riggs has worked his way up through the field, now battling for 4th with Carson Hocevar. A lot of long-run speed in that 34 truck, and we've seen him excel in these low-grip racetracks in the past with wins at IRP in Milwaukee over the last year. Low-grip track at Darlington, probably going to suit his strength, and Lane Riggs up to 4th place now, sorry. Sawallich on the fresh tires has actually worked his way up to 7th place, and just over 4 seconds out of the lead. 1 lap to go for Eckes in stage 1. He's already got about a second advantage over Caden Honeycutt, who was able to get by Heim for 2nd place. Heim should be able to hold on for 3rd. He's got quite the gap back to Riggs. But the long run speed looking to be Christian Eckes, at least for stage 1. Obviously, these teams will be able to make their first adjustments because we have not seen pit stops yet tonight. And these are the first laps that we have seen under the nighttime sky, so much different track conditions than what we might have seen in practice earlier today, which would have been a little over 3 hours ago from this current moment. So Eckes wins his first stage of the season. Caden Honeycutt in second, Corey Heim third, fourth for Lane Riggs. Carson Hosevar rounds out the top 5 in fifth. And Ty Majeski sixth, William Sawalich seventh, Ross Chastain eighth, Tanner Gray ninth, Daniel Hemrick rounds out the top 10. All right. Those are your stage points per position. 4 lead changes, all passes for the lead, 4 different leaders. And with the first 2 cautions we saw in the first 15 laps, this is now our third caution of the race today, the stage break at lap 45, after a green flag run of over 25 laps. And again, first pit stops are going to be coming up shortly. Austin Sullivan, thanks for tuning in. Where did Eckes come from exactly? Surprising me even. I mean, I knew he was in the field, but mid-pack and qualifying, where did he come from? Part-time in the truck series. Back with the team, of course, that he was winning races and competing for championships with just a couple years ago at McAnally Hilgeman Racing. Well, that team doesn't run every week. All right. Well, we're going to take our first break while we're at the end of stage 1. They're on a commercial break. Again, pit stops will be on the other side. Our chat poll will remain open until the end of stage 2. You're listening live, KRC, to full flag-to-fly coverage of tonight's truck race in Darlington. Third caution of the night with the stage break. We'll see if stage 2 may go uninterrupted this time after we got a decent green flag run in stage 1. I say decent because I don't consider 25 laps a long green flag run. It might be long by Darlington standards because of the fall off that we have seen already, more than 2 seconds over the course of 20 green flag laps. Nearly 2.5 seconds for the pole sitter, Caden Honeycutt, in a 20-lap stretch. So if we go green all the way through a stage and we run 40-plus laps, you wonder what that fall-off could be. And if we get to stage 3, how long can these drivers try to survive on tires? I would like to think that there's not going to be any pit stops in a 57-lap stage, especially with the stage caution laps. They'll probably restart with less than 50 to go, so I doubt we'll see pit stops under green flag conditions, but everybody will be pitting for tires in that final stage, and maybe even in stage 2, depending on how many laps will be left, if we get that said caution. Still decent ways to go here tonight. Thanks for everybody tuning in. March Madness weekend, too, so I know there might be some people maybe not watching the racing tonight, so thank you so much for watching this stream. We're already past our like goal, by the way, too. So let's try to get up to 100 likes. Our original like goal was 50 for tonight's stream. We have reached 61 at the end of stage 1. Awesome job, guys. Knocking it out of the park this evening. If it wasn't for you guys helping along and watching these streams every weekend, I wouldn't be able to do them every weekend for live commentary purposes. So always have fun watching the races with you guys every week. Across all 3 series. Trucks will be off at Martinsville next week. Their next race will be Bristol. And again, a reminder, this is the first race of the Triple Truck Challenge. So a $50,000 bonus is at stake for tonight's winner that is not a Cup regular. So Christian Eckes would fall under that category. Corey Heim as well, because he's technically running for truck points, even though he's not running the full schedule. Pit road should be open this time by on the 4th lap of caution from the stage end. I just came back from commercial. And as soon as pit road opens, I'll let you listen into the reports. What these teams and drivers are going to be doing adjustment-wise.
Sure is pit crews. Don't slide through your pit box. No mistakes. Kingston.
Peter obviously really happy with his race truck. Gonna have no changes. Came in the radio, said this truck is awesome, dude, after he crossed the line. And then we got Layton Reyes kind of flip side of that spectrum. Had some contact on, he got the front toe knocked out. They're gonna put 4 tires on it. They made some spots up at the end of that long run, but not really sure what they got right now.
Yeah, down here on our end, Seth Smith is going to try and tighten up Corey Haim's race truck. He said he's burning his rear tires off, hanging on for dear life. Now, on the opposite side of that, Ross Chastain is asking Phil Gould to free his truck up. So he's going up on the crack bar, making air pressure adjustment. Kate Honeycutt said he feels like he is losing most of his time down in 1 and 2. Feel like he's just way too loose. He's going to try and put some front brake in it. Scott Zipadelli's going to get him tuned up. He said he's really good at 3 and 4, looking for a little bit better rear grip there in 1 and 2.
Man, Christian Eckes with a very slow stop. 19 plus seconds is going to drop him out of the lead and back to 6th place. 5 positions lost for the race leader and stage 1 winner. Caden Honeycutt wins the race off pit road, having that number 1 pit box after qualifying on the pole today. That's huge, and he's back in the lead. And we'll go over the leaderboard headed into the next race start when we begin stage 2. But Caden Honeycutt in the number 11. Back out in front. Emogene Blevins, welcome to the stream. 97. Death Valley. Yeah, that's a place that it gets scorched very often. I was unaware of the heat wave around some other parts of the country. Duke still in it? Yes. Yeah, Duke won last night. I took Duke to win the national championship. They're my pick to win the whole thing. They struggled last night, though. I was like, my bracket, there's no point in me watching anymore. My Michigan Wolverines are still in, so even if my bracket gets severely busted, I'm not doing bad, though. They're almost out of the first round, and as of right now, knock on wood, I only have one Sweet 16 team out, so not doing too bad. I had a Santa Clara beating Kentucky earlier today. Anybody that may have watched that game or highlights of that game, wild. I thought they won. They hit a 3 with 2 seconds left. Kentucky just an inside the half-court heave at the buzzer, tied it. They went to overtime, and Kentucky ended up winning. Oh, back and forth in the final seconds of that game. All with no timeouts for both teams, too. Kentucky tied the game with like 9 seconds left. Rushing down the court with no timeouts. Santa Clara hits a 3 with 2 seconds left, and then a heave from just inside half court. All in the span of like real time, like 15 seconds. I'm like, what did I just watch? I almost predicted the upset there. Nearly felt like a genius. How could I betray the U of M? I just have Duke winning. I'm not a homer. I do my research, just like I do with these live commentary streams, especially when I give you my predictions for who I think will run well, not run well for the Cup Series race every Sunday. They're all unbiased. I'm a Blaney fan. Yeah, I want him to win deep down, but I'm unbiased. As I have to be with the commentating side. Yeah, it was a wild game. I got up out of my seat in that last like 10 seconds as what happened. Like, what did I just watch? That was a lot of fun. Good time of the year. Best time of the year for basketball. Waiting for the race to get back on commercial. Stage 1 break right now. Lap 51 of 147 if you're just tuning in. 5 lead changes. First time we've had a driver lead multiple times in the race now. Caden Honeycutt out in front. Started on pole, lost the lead after about 8 laps, and now he's back in the lead after winning the race off of pit road. He finished second at the end of stage 1. Christian Eckes went from 16th to 1st in that first stage, but dropped 5 positions in the pit, so he'll restart 6th to begin stage 2. That will be an interesting watch, to say the least.
tire, which is going to cost him about 5 spots here on pit road.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we talked about before they came to pit road. Can't make any mistakes on pit road, no matter how fast your truck is. But you see him hanging out there on the right rear, and now he's got to do it all over again. And usually, as the race goes on, they become a little harder to pass because everybody usually makes their trucks better. So, tough situation for the 91.
Well, if his truck's like anything like it was the first run, I think it's going to come alive here, in about 25 laps. So,
Right.
But like Kevin said, everyone starts to get their truck a little bit better as the night goes on. So it's harder to make up those spots. So hopefully that rear changer learns from his mistake. And I'm sure they're still going to have the same speed in that truck. And William Sawalich is actually going to start on the front row. We saw him spin earlier and put some new tires on it, got some track position back, finished 5th in the stage. We'll see what he can do with the front row.
Yeah, and he's hoping for no more cautions.
Yes.
He used that first set of tires when he spun out and had to put those on. Got him a good finish in the stage. Gave him the track position, but we've got a little audio from that one truck of William.
The short answer, Darlington used tires, man. That's what they'll look like after a run.
We see Caden Honeycutt as a leader choosing the bottom lane. The bottom has won every single time. They've had good pushes that hooked up their rear tires, and it looks to, again, to get another great push. 2, 3 trucks clear as they get to the center of 1 and 2.
See, Corey Hahn tried to pull that same move on Caden Honeycutt that he did earlier, where he shortcut turn 1, and Caden was ready for it. So he learned from that move and did a great job there of protecting the lead.
Big surprise, Carson Hosevar 3 wide into turn 3. Gonna get a couple trucks there. Lost a lot of track position there towards the end of the run. Looked like his tires were a little bit used up.
It's Chastain to the outside of Corey Hahn, going to move up to P2. I'd be curious to see how do these guys approach this run, right? They already had, let's call it 35 green flag laps in the first one. Maybe some guys went too hard, and they fell off at the end of the stage. So do people adjust? Lane Riggs is going to clear for P4 here with Williams and Alex, but do you adjust to that? Do you take it a little bit easier on the front end? Maybe it's going to benefit me on the back end. So drivers are always adjusting, especially at a high wind racetrack like this.
There you see Christian Eckes into turn 1, trying to gain some of those shots back.
Caution's out.
Yeah, we've got some debris on the back straightaway that brought out the caution right here, and I always hated that when you run out, you see it right there. That's
But now you said it.
So if you hit it off the grill, though, it should be okay. So, shit went on there.
Well, while they go out there and get that piece of debris, we will take a break. See the fans enjoying the race. Be back.
Yeah, piece of sheet metal out on the racetrack, bringing out a caution yet again here today. Caden Honeycutt out in front of the field, got ahead on that race start, ran a couple laps. Debris caution shortly thereafter. Not sure what truck I should say, had that debris, but had to go get the piece of sheet metal, middle of the back straightaway. Somebody hit it under the caution pace, and luckily they hit it with the nose of their car, so no cut tire from that, which is good. So Caden Honeycutt leads under the caution. Ross Chastain second. Corey Heim third. Lane Riggs fourth. William Sawalich is fifth. And Christian Eck is sixth. Ty Majeski seventh. Tanner Gray eighth. Carson Hosevar ninth. Connor Mosack rounds out the top 10. Grant Enfinger in 11th. And Tyler Ankrum 12th. Rounds out the top dozen in the leaderboard. Yep, Blaney in the booth tonight. With the thick mustache and all. I was told to grow my mustache out like Ryan Blaney since I'm a Ryan Blaney fan, and I'm like, I can't grow it out like that, but I'll try to make it a little bit thicker. And I gotta say, since I've done that, a lot more of my food getting stuck in my hair. I'm trying to keep it as well maintained as I possibly can. I don't like getting food in my beard. I'm usually pretty good about not having that, and then like now I've been getting it on my lips because I have more hair there than I usually do, so I don't think it's working out very well. I don't like it. I mean, I've always had like good like facial hair, but not on the lip, not the upper lip. I'll leave that to my guy Ryan Blaney. We'll take a quick break here while we're under caution yet again, our fourth yellow already of the race. I mean, you gotta love this chat poll tonight. It is tight. Carson Hocevar was leading the poll at one point at 38%, I believe. Early in the race, now it's down to 31% for Hocevar, 30% now for Carson. 30% taking Heim as well, so we got a tie. Other at 26%, and Bell's got 13% of the votes. 53 votes have been casted so far, so it's a very tight poll right now. Vote for who you think is going to win today's race. You can adjust your vote, I believe, in the chat poll, but you have until the end of stage 2 to have your voice heard. Obviously, comment in the chat who you think is going to win, how you think the race is going, who's looking good, who's not looking good. Try to keep up with you guys as much as I can.
Then you graduated, and then they just brought you back down to ground level, didn't they? How's pit road doing for you?
Hey, that's show business, baby. I don't know what. Well, the funny thing was, Lane Riggs actually did have a tire go down. I know you guys have always been in a position where you're telling your team, "Oh, I have a problem." They're like, "Oh, you're the fastest car on the track right now." Well, it's because the right front tire was actually going down. So found that pretty interesting over the course of this caution. How about an Apple? How's it going down there at the front of pit road, Ricky?
Yes, I'm all the way down here in pit stall 1. The 7 came down and had to clear a tire rub. Talked to Brian Patty, an old-time crew chief of mine. He said that they needed long runs, no cautions. Felt like those cautions were killing them on the long run. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes through the field if we stay green. I will say, Austin, I believe you got the studio last year. I gave up my spot. I had to hang out with family during that race weekend, so you're welcome. But now we're both back on pit road. I'm having a blast down here, especially entry of turn 1. This is one of the best places to watch.
Thanks, Ricky. That turn 1 down there, when you stand down there, I always like sitting in the car or standing next to the car when you were getting ready for qualifying, because that's where you make a lot of the speed. I know in the trucks they run through there, they're wide open, but for you guys on Sunday, come qualifying time, that's always a decision that you have to make.
It's probably better to not watch a car go through turn 1 before you jump in it, because you see it and you go, "Oh my God, I gotta do that." Like, I have to go do that. It's fast. It's a lot of fun. If it turns when you get there, it's a lot of fun. Well, you see a couple trucks that are clearing fenders. You know, that's something that these truckers got to deal with the steel body. You can't bounce off each other like they do in the Cup Series. So, you know, when you do have that little bit of contact, whether it's with the wall or with other cars, they flatten out that right side and it cuts it down. And it sounded like, from what Austin was saying there for Lane Riggs, it was a slow leaker on the right front, and actually probably helped them, right?
Yeah.
It's probably just the right amount. But I don't know if you can just assume it's going to be the right amount every single time. Probably best they clear it. They had an opportunity here with this caution to try to fix that.
Yeah, and they came back in and actually took a baseball bat and rolled the truck back and forth to clearance that fender. So all the modern technology, we go back to the old school baseball bat to clear the fenders on these cars with the steel bodies. But coming back to green, 15 laps down, 45 laps total in this stage. We've seen that inside line take off well every time. We'll see if it does it again.
Interesting here. Chastain was second. He could have picked the second on the bottom, because that has been pretty strong, and it is again. With Corey Heim being able to clear almost. I thought he was. Chastain able to hang. He must have heard me talking about it. He said, "Watch this."
And with these trucks on the restarts, I would assume that you could just hold them wide open, especially on that higher lane on the restarts, to be able to get through 1 and 2 like that. So, I think Ross was probably like, all right, if I only lose 1 row on the restart, I can just stay with that second truck.
kind of leading spots here. Didn't clear Chastain by 2 feet. So 1 and 2, and they got tracked off the bottom, and now finds himself, in 6th place. So they'll have to re-rack, and we haven't really talked about time adjusting much tonight. That Menards 88 horsepower truck, tire run's really, really good. His first year running that 88, really putting some great runs together here to start the year. And it seems like they made some good adjustments on that truck.
Would you call that a throwback paint scheme?
I think it's always been.
I mean, it's been that way forever. I mean, Matt Craftsman drove that truck for like 35 years with that paint scheme on there. So it's not changed at all. Menard's a great supporter of NASCAR racing and this sport. I've been on that 88 truck for a long time. See Caden Honeycutt still up front with control of the race. Everybody pretty much single filed out. Carson Hocevar has worked his way to the 8th position right there. Hasn't really made a lot of noise other than the start of the race today, and kind of faded back, and see him right up next to the fence, which see how much speed you can gain right there through the middle of the corner. You take a lot of chances up there, and I think that's why we see a lot of the field down, but that's where that experience comes in, being able to put it right up next to the fence. We got a battle for the lead.
Oh,
Look at this. Ross Chastain, the first round of the race, looked average, not great, looked just okay. Now, second round of the race, we talked about it. Crew chiefs had an opportunity to work on it. The drivers gave some good feedback, and the race looks a lot different all of a sudden. Ross Chastain's team obviously making good changes, at least for the short run. He's going to get a good run off of turn 4 here. He's going to get to the inside into turn 1 of Caden Honeycutt, and he's going to clear him.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the lap before. Carson Hocevar got a big run off the top at 3 and 4. Ross Chastain just did it there. We talked first round of the race, the top 3 trucks right on that apron, all the way on the bottom. And now we kind of see the very top. You have to be up against the wall to get that momentum, get that run. So this track changes so much. I mean, it's run to run, it's lap to lap, and it's just all about finding new things all the time. And Ross has found something new that's really gotten in the lead. And Caden Honeycutt's probably going to have to go searching up there. He just got passed on the top.
I was just going to say that puts a lot of pressure on these young guys that don't have a lot of experience here. And in the trucks, if you hit it once, it's caving the right side in. Like, it's not, there's no forgiveness. You can touch it and slide it and with the tail maybe just a little bit. But if you hit that thing flat, the whole thing is caving in on the side of the truck. So a lot of risk right up here where Hocevar is. You see how close he is to the
man, he's getting close too.
The big sides on these trucks and that big spoiler on the back, actually, when you get close to the wall like that, it creates the side force and puts a lot of air on the spoiler, and it's like a magnet. But there's a lot of risk running that high line.
So when you talk about risk and you think of Carson Hocevar, you think of Ross Chastain, these guys don't care about risk because they're not racing for points. These other guys are racing for points. So if they hit the wall a little bit and they knock the right front fender in and cut down a right front tire, yeah, is it a bummer? Sure. Does it ruin their whole season, though? No. So they're willing to take some risks to go where other trucks aren't willing to go and take advantage of them.
We see Carson has high entry into 1 as well. We see Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, those guys been really good at it on the cup side. And Carson's been doing it really well here. But we just saw Corey Hyman took his line away in 3 and 4. Corey's starting to run the very top, so now Carson has to adjust. How do I get behind him on the bottom? And Joey talked about that before the race happened. It's so narrow, you burn your stuff up following a guy. So now that you can't run the third lane, you really have to figure it out. So this has been a great race so far. We've seen a lot of comers and goers. They're just going to get more of the action when we come back from break. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, so about just past halfway through stage 2, lap 70 of 147 in today's race, around halfway total. Ross Chastain just took over the race lead a few laps ago from Caden Honeycutt. First lead of the race for Chastain. His best lap of the race, lap 55, so they definitely made some great adjustments to that truck. Same for Majeski. Krzyzewski also running their fastest laps of the race in the second stage right now, one of just a few drivers to do so. Caden Honeycutt sits in second behind Chastain, the leader. We'll go through the full field running order right now. Ty Majeski's in third. Krzyzewski is fourth. Corey Heim back in fifth place. Sixth is Carson Hocevar. Seventh is William Sawalich. 8th is Tanner Gray. Tyler Ankrum 9th. Grant Enfinger rounds out the top 10. Jake Garcia in 11th. Christopher Bell 12th. Daniel Hemrick 13th. AJ Allmendinger 14th. Now 15th. Daniel Hemrick up to 14th. Stuart Friesen is back in the 16th place position. 17th, Andres Perez. Connor Jones 18th. Corey LaJoie 19th. And Justin Haley 20th. Gio Ruggiero in 21st. Chandler Smith is all the way back in 22nd. Dawson Sutton in 23rd. 24th, Cole Butcher. 25th is Timmy Hill. And Connor Mosack in 26th. Brennan Queen, 27th. 28th, Justin Carroll. Caleb Costner, 29th. And 30th, Frankie Muniz. Muniz is the last truck on the lead lap. Then Chris Wright is a lap down in 31st. Minnie Tyrell 2 laps down in 32nd. Spencer Boyd 6 laps down in 33rd. And Clayton Green on track had a spin earlier is 34th, 7 laps down. 2 trucks out of the race. Josh Reum 35th. And Ben Rhodes with that flat tire back on lap 2, 36th. That rounds out the field 4 cautions, 6 lead changes, 20 laps of yellow so far, and again, lap 73 of 147. We're just over an hour into the race. Appreciate everybody tuning live for commentary of tonight's action. We'll take a break, and we'll be back here in a second. Corey Heim leading our chat poll now at 31% for who you think is going to win tonight's truck race at Darlington. Of the 56 votes, 32% now. Carson Hocevar, 29% of the votes. Christopher Bell, 14%. Somebody other than those 3. And 25%. You have until the end of stage 2 to vote. So not that much longer left for that voting poll to be open. About 17 more laps from now. Chastain's lead over Honeycutt about 0.4 of a second. 1.2 seconds back to Majeski in third. And 3.4 seconds to Christian Eckes in fourth. Eckes won stage number 1, though he has only led for 7 laps today. Our current leader Chastain has led for 8. Most laps led Corey Heim with 27. Honeycutt from the pole has led for 25 and 6 for Christopher Bell, and he is now outside of the top 10. Honeycutt going back for the lead again.
Way right here, running in any harbor up here next to the fence.
We've seen that Ross Chastain had a really fast run truck. Maybe he's paying a little price on the long run. Overall, still putting him in a position to possibly win this race. Not bad. Right behind him, though, Ty Majeski, also pretty fast here in the long run, able to hang with these guys.
This is a cool one. I want to talk about. This is my dad's 1998 Busch Series car.
Yes. The Amico car.
Really, really cool. I always love that scheme. And this
I got that diecast.
Tim Bedowa, my current spotter, Kevin's old spotter, right? My dad right there. Pretty cool full circle moment. Yeah, you see those spoilers all laid back on the car. Obviously, that's from Daytona. Those were cool looking cars. Those Pontiacs that they had with the curved spoiler right there. But that's a pretty darn good throwback.
I always love that car. I have so many diecasts of that race car in my house, from his Busch Series to the Cup Series. That's a cool memory.
There you see the 18 truck right here of Tyler Ankrum go by William Swallich, who had that spin out earlier and had to put a set of tires on. He and Lane Riggs both, they're the one truck of Swallich, had used an extra set of tires. So,
well, and speaking of Lane Riggs, he's up to 10th. Is that he put tires? I remember right before we went green here, just a few laps ago, he pulled 4 tires on to pull his fenders out and all those type of things as he was having a fender rub. He's able to make up a ton of time. He's going to get some good stage points here. He may get up to 5th-ish, maybe, possibly here with the newer tires. But if there's a late race caution,
Big trouble.
the 34 and the 1 are going to be in a heap of trouble.
Yeah, he restarted. Lane Riggs restarted 31st, so he's up to 9th right now. And he's gonna get several more as we go through these next several laps. So big moving, and when you're at a deficit like that and you've had problems, you got to get those stage points right to protect yourself.
At least get something, right? Yeah, you said it. If you got the tires, go grab it while you can, and then just hope it goes green this last stage, and maybe they'll be okay.
Well, we've seen that trend as we've run long runs at Darlington. It's like, and we saw it at the beginning of the race. You know, we saw Sawallick spin out, and we had the early trouble with Ben Rhodes. But as you go longer and longer during the race, and everybody gets more comfortable, these guys got 50 minutes of practice today. They were able to run through a couple of sets of tires to get themselves on the racetrack and get a rhythm. But there's nothing like race rhythm and adjustments on the truck and everything that you've got going on. So they just get better and better every lap.
Lane in there working the throttle slot, trying to figure out how he can make some pace. This is a good reminder for Darlington on Sunday at 3 o'clock at FS1. They had 4 awesome looking drivers on that promo. Appreciate that.
I mean, when you're on the broadcast, you own the promo.
Exactly. It just feels like it's the right thing to do.
I had a fan ask me the other day. They're like, "Well, why are you still on the driver's only podcast?" I'm like, "Because we started it, and we're making the rules, so don't argue with us."
Finally, we get to make the rules and stuff to don't try.
And you're still driving. I am still driving. Yeah, that's fair. But on the graphic, they should at least give me a number.
Yeah.
I love listening to the lane rigs here, right? You can just figure how much he friends his throttle. I love to stay on this shot. Yeah, he lost it. Listen to the differences in the tone 1 and 2 throttle to 3 and 4. How much against the fin?
You see Ross Chastain right now. He's really starting to back up, and he's backed himself up enough to where it's drug in 2 or 3 other guys behind Ty Majeski. So we saw that 91 truck right there behind the 88 of Ty Majeski be really good at the end of the last run, and now you're starting to see the same thing from the 91 truck of Christian Eckes.
Yeah, I guess it's fast again, and he lost all those spots on pit road there. He lost 5+ spots, lost a couple more on the restart. And this is his time, right? We've seen it already. That 91 truck, that black and gold white one, he is good on the long haul, and he needs these long runs. And the problem is there's only 5 laps to capitalize right now. So you don't have the time to make up for it. So he's got to have better pit stops, better restarts, so he can really gain some of this track position back that he needs.
And you saw the lap car right there in the middle of them, and we go back to the in-car camera and that noise, and you listen to that motor, and you were like, it's like you have an egg on the gas pedal, and you hear Lane Riggs right here through 3 and 4, and you see Mini Tyrell right there in the 14 truck slide up in front of them. But it is such a finesse racetrack, and you go with the slide, a little bit of throttle on, a little bit of throttle off, and right here you just kind of pedal it to just set the rear tire to get the thing in the racetrack, and it's such a finesse racetrack with the throttle pedal.
And it's fun to listen to. And it feels like you're going so slow, but you're absolutely control. It's just slide like that turn 3 entry part. You just feel like, oh, I hope it turns when you get there. If not, you smushed them all.
And as you come off of turn 2 right here, you'll see that black line right there. The racetrack. This is actually a new patch of asphalt. Big bump right there off of turn 2, right where it doesn't need to be. It's like they put that bump in that spot on purpose, but it is right in the wrong spot.
This racetrack is so slick. There's a lot of times, especially on old tires, you kind of go back to the gas, back corner in the middle, and then you have to kind of pedal back out to get the car to settle again before the exit. So there's a lot, certain tracks it's kind of a more of a gradual throttle increase. Here it's a little bit more off and on throttle, just the way that the corners are shaped and the truck is sliding around. So that's the big thing about this racetrack is it's not just progressively getting more throttle. It's kind of on and off and on and off. And as a driver, you're just judging that by the seat of your pants, which makes it such a fun but challenging racetrack as well.
Because you're doing all that and your truck drives different every single one. Right? What you did the lap before isn't going to work the next lap because a little bit more tire fell off. Or you get in a little bit of traffic and that truck you thought was going to run the bottom all of a sudden runs the top right in front of you. There's a battle for fourth. Corey Heim. We were talking about Eckes on the long run. Why not taking my eyes off of Corey Heim for too long?
And that happened. That happened the first run with Ekins, but as we come to one to go here in the second stage, it has been all Caden Honeycutt on this particular run. He has put himself in charge of this race.
For now.
He had a fast truck.
For now.
We saw the first stage. They got behind these guys and wasn't able to make up the track position, and Eckes come on late. But that has not been the case, and that's why they raced him so hard in the first stage, because they knew if they got through those first 10 laps of the stage, he'd do exactly this: take off and hide, and he wins stage 2. Fourth career stage win for Caden Honeycutt, and his first of 2026. So starting to rack up some of those points tonight at Darlington. Caden Honeycutt, winner of stage 2. Can he finish that off and then win his first race of the year?
So Caden Honeycutt, the first stage win of 2026, as he is the stage 2 winner here tonight at Darlington. Ross Chastain, who got to the lead for a short bit on the short run. Caden Honeycutt on the long run got back around him. Chastain still was able to hold on for second, though he had a slew of drivers behind him. Ty Majeski in third, Corey Heim fourth, and Christian Eckes in fifth were all hot on the heels of Chastain for second at the end of that stage. Sixth place was Tyler Ankrum. Seventh place was Carson Hocevar. We haven't seen him up at the front since the beginning. Lane Riggs in eighth, who was top 5 in the first stage, fell behind at stage 2. Jake Garcia ninth. William Sawalich rounds out the top 10. I think Riggs is still somebody to look out for if he can get track position on a late race restart situation, because he did restart the tail end of the field, had to come back onto pit road after the first and only caution early in stage 2 because of a flat tire. So still rallied to get back up to 8th. Problem is he's down a set of tires because of having to change that set. So we'll see how this final stage is going to work out for him, having that tire deficit. Probably not the greatest thing. Jake Garcia was in 9th. William Sawalich rounds out the top 10 for those stage points. Again, 1 point per position. Obviously, the Cup regulars in the top 10 with the likes of Ross Chastain, Carson Hocevar not going to receive points for the driver standings, but those teams will get owners points still, obviously, the 45 and the 77 teams. So on to the final stage of tonight's race. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. We're at 66 likes on tonight's stream. Our goal was to get to 50, so we have crushed that like goal. We actually got there at the end of stage 1. So thank you so much for hitting the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We have live commentary streams like this every NASCAR race weekend across Truck, O'Reilly, and Cup Series races. With the drivers only broadcast on, I was letting you listen into a little bit more of the drivers broadcast. I'll take over more of the control into stage 3 per usual. Give myself a little bit of rest as well. I don't know if I've mentioned this on stream or not yet, but my work schedule it's rough right now. So I'm working from 2:30. Well, I should say I'm getting up just before 2:30 in the morning, about 2:15, 2:10ish. And then 3 a.m. is my start time to 1, 4 days a week. Thursdays I'm off, Fridays I'm on. So Friday streams for me, like today, they're going to be rough going forward. I did not have the schedule at Daytona during Speed Week. Thankfully, I didn't start until the following Tuesday. So I was able to kind of blow through Speed Week, no problem. So if I seem a little tired or stumbling on my speech at various points, that would be why. I apologize for that. I'll get used to it. I'm only a couple weeks onto the schedule and still trying to get the feel of things. So, didn't get to nap in between streams earlier today. I was trying to get as much of the notes for tomorrow's streams down as possible. So I'll sleep in overnight tonight, into the morning hours tomorrow. We'll be back at Better Than Ever tomorrow afternoon. So Caden Honeycutt, stage 2 winner, qualified on the pole. I think he now has had the most laps led to this point in the race, 44 out of 93 laps led. So nearly half the laps that have been ran have been led by Honeycutt. And he's led 2 different times. Pit road should be open this time by. We'll have our second wave of pit stops. And each of these teams are going to have another set of tires to use in the final stage in the event of a caution, depending on when we may see it. Both stage 1 and stage 2, we saw the cautions early in the stage and then kind of end the stage on a longer green flag run. So I'm curious if stage 3 will be much of the same. We had 2 cautions in stage 1, only 1 in stage 2, and the 2 stage breaks, lap 45 and lap 90, have equated to our 5 cautions total today. Again, 7 lead changes, though 4 of which were in the first stage, 5 when we went to the restart after Honeycutt won the race off pit road from the first stop. He's got the number 1 pit box. He's going to be the first car to pit road, and I think he's got a couple lap trucks between himself and second place, so it's going to be a pretty easy job, I think, for Honeycutt and that team to win the race off pit road. They're going to have to make a monumental mistake for them not to win the race out of the pits, in my personal opinion here. So they can take their time, or not take their time, but they can not make a mistake because they're not having to be too pressured into having to have the quickest time possible.
Right here.
Yep, we've started pit stops here. Christian Eckes, dominant truck in stage 1. 2 loops in front of us. Trying to stage 3, get down on feedback. Meanwhile, Tom Majeski, starting too much vibration over the line. Ricky? Yeah, Kate had that.
And I've been like, the 11th's looking like a veteran on the racetrack and starting to sound like one already. So really cool to see the progress that he's able to be and patient with that. Corey Hahn's asking for his rear tires to last longer. He said anytime he hits the throttle, it just floats rear tires off of it. Ross Chastain is looking to get a little bit tighter. They freed up the last stop, but doesn't want to go back down on the track bar. So he's looking for a little extra snug in the rear tires before the end of this thing. But this long run will be interesting to see here.
Well, thanks, Rick.
Another slow stop for Christian Eckes, losing 4 positions on pit road again. 17-plus second stop, so the stage 1 winner back behind in traffic was not able to get back to the lead because of a poor restart and poor pit stop. Another poor pit stop here, and because of how short these truck races are, this final stage especially, by the time we restart, we're going to have less than 50 laps to go. That is not a lot of time for Christian Eckes to try to get back to the front. Long run race trucks right now, Caden Honeycutt, Christian Eckes, and Lane Riggs are the 3 that I've been able to eyeball throughout the course of these first 95 laps as to who I think are the favorites on the long run for the win. Chastain rocketed off fast with that short run speed. Corey Haim has taken the lead on a restart with the short run. And then so did Christopher Bell early, though he's not in the top 10. He's really been struggling on the long run. Very loose with that race truck all day long. Practice qualifying as well as the race itself. Just over an hour, 15 minutes in, 5 cautions. And again, lap 95 of 147. We're nearing the end. 24 laps spent under yellow in this race so far tonight. Caden Honeycutt, the current race leader, has led for over half of the completed laps so far. And again, he started on the pole. He's led 2 different laps. He still has the Xfinity fastest lap of the race, so that's a bonus point for him, as well as this good stage day. First in the second stage, as mentioned already, he was second at stage 1, so 19 stage points. He might hold on to that fastest lap award. He's got a 29.837. With that being so early in the race on the green racetrack, it's going to be very tough to beat that lap time. Nobody else has been able to get within 900ths of a second of it. Ross Chastain, a lap 55 in the last restart, was the closest when he got to the lead, dropped to 29.927. I believe those are the only 2 drivers to run a sub 30-second lap in today's race. And we will have 30 trucks on the lead lap when we get back to the green. Frankie Muniz in the 29th place position got the free pass to get back on the lead lap with the stage caution. I believe still just the 2 trucks out of the race. Mechanical failure for Josh Reaume and Ben Rhodes with the flat left front tire in a crash back at stage 1. So we'll take another break here while we await the restart as trucking continues in Darlington, South Carolina. Nearing the finish of tonight's race.
This is on
The checkered flag for the flies. Let me check that again. The green flag for the Goodyear 400 flies Sunday at 3 Eastern, with pre-race action beginning at 1:30 only on FS1.
It's that you
I'd like to
point out they set you up for failure.
Well,
the wrong script.
I did read the script, and then I recognized that it was not right, so I just corrected it. Hey, you know what? That's the way it goes, and sometimes you got to adapt and adjust. So that's what we've been doing all night, right?
That's what these truckers are doing all night. They have to adapt and adjust, whether it's on pit road or on the racetrack, lap to lap, short run to long run. It's been fun watching this whole thing play out. But one thing for sure, that 11 truck of Caden Honeycutt has the truck to beat. But we know on the short run, that has not been the fastest truck. And I think who's lining up right next to him is one of those trucks that has a lot of speed here on the restart. You see it there, the 45 of Ross Chastain.
Yeah, and Chastain has just been, he's been really good at the beginning. We've seen how aggressive that he's been the whole night on the restarts, and even at the very beginning of the race, trying to push that truck into places that it probably didn't fit. So he's going to be aggressive, and I think it goes back to what we talked about in stage one. You do not want to let that 11 truck get too far out on this restart, because if you do, and the caution doesn't come out, most likely you're not going to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys are thinking of how can we put the 11 truck in a bad spot on this restart, because he is so fast into a run. If it goes green, this is going to be the longest run that we have had. The first stage was 45 laps. This is going to be 49 to go. So be curious to see what everyone's thinking, and be curious to see what Carson Hocevar is thinking here.
Yeah, look, high pinnacle road.
It's a lot of beeping, guys. Sound like a truck backing up.
Yeah.
Here we go. Corey Himes pushing into turn one in that 5 truck. Is he going to try to pull the same move? He can't quite pull it off. He's done a good job of protecting that since starting the race. Zeller low, kind of taking the air out of the nose of Corey Himes' truck. And, Ross Chastain didn't get the restart that he wanted to. He's going to dive to the inside of Corey Himes here, trying to get back to second. Looks like he's going to, and he's going to be looking for the lead like he did the start of the first, the run of the previous restart. I mean, Ross knows the situation here. He knows, he's smart enough to know, I got a fast truck for 15 laps, and I need to get it while I can.
And I think that the other thing that is impressive to me, and I know Caden Honeycutt has run races, but now he's learning how to race at the front of the racetrack, controlling the races, on the restart, all the things that he really hasn't done at a super high level. He's done them sporadically, but doing them consistently like he's had to do tonight, it's different. When you're having to be the leader of the race and you know that you're way better than everybody else, everybody there wants to put you in a bad spot. And I think he's done a good job. And we've seen the progression since that first stage.
Lane Riggs is really trying to make a lot of ground up here early. He's gained a couple spots on the restart. He just passed Ty Majeski for 4th.
Yep.
He is pushing his truck early, right? He's one of the guys that I need track position right now. Let me see if I can get it and then see how my truck holds on. But he's been making some really bold moves. High entry into one already on the restart. That's really paying off for him. And the thing is, yes, 46 laps to go. This could be the longest run of the race if it does go green. The other thing for Lane Riggs, he has 1 set of tires left, where the majority of trucks have 2 sets of tires left. So
Yes.
depending on how cautious fall out, he may be okay. He might be in trouble. He's hoping for some long green flag runs, in other words.
And it's been really interesting, with the 77 truck right here of Carson Hocevar. We heard him on the radio. We kind of saw, he didn't look like he was in a great mood in his pre-race interview with Austin, and now we hear his radio. He was mad at everything, and so sometimes that's a good thing for a driver, but sometimes that can be detrimental to the things that you're trying to accomplish. So Hocevar is always, we call him the Hurricane for a reason.
You know what I think it is, guys? When we were driving down here to Darlington earlier today, I had a transit van full of 5 kids screaming in my car. And we passed Carson Hosevar in his little sports car, and all I thought, maybe the van passing him down the road was something I got to him.
Well, first off, I don't even know the van.
Yes, there is 5 kids in there, and it's a big time in there. The van is the way to go. If you have kids, van life is a real thing.
Learn something every day. See the 15 right there of Tanner Gray. He had a great qualifying effort, and I really thought with all those Toyotas.
I know.
Wow.
Well, he saved it right there with the 20.
What a
26
save.
truck of Dawson setting up on the outside. Otherwise, that truck was probably coming around.
Well, if he was loose before, he's going to be wicked tire down.
Connor Jones, the 42 tire down up against the wall in turns 3 and 4. We'll see if they throw a caution. He cannot get the caution out.
And Lane Riggs is going, oh no.
Yeah.
What do you do? Right? You're 4th place. You got a lot of laps left. 42 laps to go. You got 15 on your tires. Most everyone, I think, is going to probably put on a set here. Here's a replay.
Yeah, and you saw him flip the apron right there. And when he came up off the apron, that truck just got right next to the 26 truck of Dawson Sutton and got loose. You see it come off the apron. Just no air on the right side of that 42 truck. And
these trucks are so reliant on side force, right? And the Cup cars aren't really like that these days, right? There's no side force on them already, so they don't really get that free inside of someone anymore. But these trucks, Xfinity cars, when you have the side-by-side into turn 1 like that, like the 42 was hoping he would clear the 26 into turn 1, and then he could use racetrack. But the 26 drove in just as deep as him, so he was in a terrible spot. Nothing of his doing, just kind of by circumstance of loss of air and clipping the apron, just all bad things. So hopefully they can get that thing repaired and back underway.
yeah, and Connor was actually doing a really good job. He was actually running 15th before that accident. So had a pretty solid night going for the amount of experience that he has in these trucks, which is pretty limited.
Well, I want to go back, Joey, what you were talking about. If you're Lane Riggs,
I think you got to stay.
you got to stay,
I
right?
think you got to stay. You got 1 set left of 41 to go. You got to hope other trucks stay with you. I don't know if many will.
Yeah, and that's the problem. If you stay, I mean, you're going to be last.
Gosh, it's tough. I mean, this is the worst possible scenario. He's coming. I mean, he would have gotten used up if he stayed out. Austin?
Yeah, Tommy he's obviously coming in, putting on 4 tires. He's just struggling to get in the corner right now. But the big story on my end of pit road, Lane Riggs, he's got that final set of stickers. Looks like they're going to put him on. The last thing they got is 3-lap scuff. So big trouble for 34. What do you got, Rick?
Yeah, Caden Honey, I thought, was asking how many sets of tires they had. They said 2. He said, good, let's take 1 set right now. Be interesting to watch the 45 and all the niche trucks. They have in-house pit crews. They don't have any cut pit crews. So if Ross Chastain holds serve here or gains spots, that's a pit crew that's done in-house, which is very rare these days. So Caden Honeycutt's leaving pit road here. Looks like he's going to win the race off pit road. 45 right behind him. So those guys are doing a great job holding serve for Ross Chastain.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ricky. When you have a truck team that does your pit crew in-house, your pit stop practices and everything, and you're keeping up with all these guys that are coming from O'Reilly and Cup and all the different teams, that's pretty impressive. Caden Honeycutt up front. We'll see if he can finish it off.
Yeah, that 11 team fast on pit road, fast on the racetrack, kind of similar to how it was with Corey Heim for much of last season, but right now it is Caden Honeycutt and his time to shine with that full-time Tricon number 11 Toyota Tundra ride. Honeycutt in the race lead. We'll wait for the rest of the leaderboard to update when they get back to the start-finish line this time by, and then I'll read off the top half a dozen headed into the next restart. Had a couple trucks stay out of the pits. And then they'll probably pit the following time by Justin Carroll, Timmy Hill. Or they're trying to save a set of tires in case we get a bunch of cautions down the stretch. That could be a strategy in staying out as well. I think them staying out might cause a caution on a restart. 39 laps to go here at Darlington. Headed down the home stretch, 1 hour and 28 minutes or so just into this race. This is our 6th caution, first of stage 3. We've had 8 lead changes so far today. Caden Honeycutt has dominated pretty much the entire, not only back half of the race, but the middle portion of this race as well. Stage 1 was won by Christian Eckes. Honeycutt, after taking the lead from Chastain, middle of stage 2 onward, has been the force to be reckoned with. And it's going to be tough to bring him down for the race win tonight. He's got to be the clear-cut favorite the way things are going right now. I did not pick a winner for tonight's race, so I'm not going to say that like, oh, one driver was my pick to win. Because honestly, I didn't even pick one before the drop of the green flag of today's race, so it's my fault for not picking one. I don't even know who I would have taken with the stacked field we had this evening. But even with the stacked field, these truck regulars really came to play tonight. We'll see if they can finish it off. Haven't seen Christopher Bell up near the front since early in the race. Same for Carson Hocevar. Hocevar sliding through his box on pit road during the stage 2 pit stops, so that put him behind. Noteworthy that Chandler Smith is having an extremely off night tonight. 24th right now. He has pretty much been outside the top 20 most of this race. No stage points for Chandler Smith. And remember, he came in as the points leader. So not only he came in as the points leader and didn't get any stage points, but also the second place driver in points, Ben Rhodes, got in an early crash. He's going to end up with a last place finish and no stage points. So this championship window is wide open. And I don't know who's going to be the points leader at the end of the night. It could be Honeycutt. Goes out here, puts a 75-point performance up. He's 65 points out at first. He could end up in the points lead over Chandler Smith. It is not impossible. From 65 points back entering the evening. All right, 37 laps to go in the next restart. We'll see if this will be the last one of the race. We have had longer green flag runs to end the first 2 stages, so this could be the final one. Timmy Hill did stay out of the pit, so he is going to be on old tires here, and that could back things up a bit. Caden Honeycutt will be the first on 4 fresh Goodyears in second. So Timmy Hill first, Caden Honeycutt second, Ross Chastain third, Corey Heim fourth, Tyler Ankrum fifth, and Ty Majeski rounds out the top 6. Here we go. Green flag is going to be back in the air. Timmy Hill taking the outside of row number 1. Majeski, I believe, is the first truck behind him as the 2nd through 5th place trucks all took the inside. They want to get out of harm's way from Hill. And Majeski is going to want to get to the bottom as quickly as he can without losing too many positions. Honeycutt, under pressure after already getting to the lead into turns 1 and 2, now has Ross Chastain underneath him, and they're going to drag race down the back straightaways. They're side by side for the lead entering turn 3. Honeycutt on the outside, Chastain on the bottom, Chastain all the way down low, below the hashed white line with all 4 tires, slides clear on corner exit, crossover by Honeycutt. And as they head for turn 1, Ross Chastain leads that lap of the line, but Honeycutt will be clear right back into turn 1 and 2 with a slide job of his own. And a double crossover by Chastain as he's back along the inside off turn 2, almost making contact up off the exit of the corner. And Chastain slingshots himself back to the lead into turns 3 and 4, and we'll see how long he can hold on for it. He's had one of the best, if not the best, short-run trucks of the night. Honeycutt, the best long-run truck of the night. And with 37 laps to go, is that enough laps on the long run for Caden Honeycutt's truck to come in, per usual, and steal this win away from the Cup regular Chastain? This is almost identical to the start of Stage 2. The only difference is these guys crossed each other over multiple times on the restart. And it wasn't just one fell swoop in which Chastain passed and took off with the race lead. Honeycutt was putting up a fight there for about a lap and a half or so. Top 5 in the running order right now in the restart has Chastain in the lead by 0.4 of a second over Caden Honeycutt, 1.1 seconds back to Corey Hyman third, Ty Majeski 1.4 seconds back and fourth, and Lane Riggs 2.5 seconds out of the lead, rounding out the top 5. Andres Perez up to 6th, the race high in the running order for him after coming into this race 7th in points. He's 2.6 seconds out of the lead. Christian Eckes is 2.9 seconds back as he lost a couple spots on the restart again. Carson Hocevar 3 seconds out of the lead on his comeback to 8th, already up 6 positions on the restart. Tyler Ankrum 3.3 seconds out of the lead. Timmy Hill still holding on in 10th for now at 3.3 out of the lead, but don't believe that will be for long as he's on those older tires. And he just got passed by Jake Garcia out of turn 2 that last time, so yes, Hill is out of the top 10 now. And we haven't seen Jake Garcia in the top 10 much tonight, but he's there for the time being. See if he can stay there to the end of the race. Lane Riggs in a battle with Carson Hocevar for 5th, and Carson Hocevar continues to push and press forward. Hocevar had a pretty good short run truck. He took the lead for a brief moment way back in stage 1. He hasn't led since. He fell back to about 7th by the end of that stage, and this is about as high in the running order as he's been since then, as he's up in the top 5 yet again. 9 positions gained on the restart for Carson Hocevar. Maybe just trying to push, hope for another short run and another caution to lead into pit stops again. Andres Perez now putting pressure on Lane Riggs, who has had a pretty good long run truck, but struggling on the short run late. Could be conserving tires as well, knowing that he's going to have to use a set to the end. He's on his final set. Most of the field still has a set left. Riggs had that flat tire back in stage 2, so they had to put another set of tires on after just a couple laps on the old set. So he could put those scuffs back on, but it's not going to be anywhere near the fresh sticker tires. At that point, you might as well just stay out, because I feel like it doesn't work one way or the other. You might as well keep your track position. Especially in the event of like a 2-lap restart. You can't fall all the way back through the field in 2 laps. Like maybe you could salvage top 15 or something. Things go right. Carson Hocevar slinging by Ty Majeski for 4th as he continues to press forward, and quick work of Corey Hyman, the 5 truck, as he's all over his back bumper for 3rd entering turn 1. Down to 29 laps to go. Hocevar to the outside. Squeezed up into the fence by Corey Hyman. They have contact. Remember, these two have a history in the championship race a couple years ago. And Corey Hyman was not letting that 77 get by easily. Now Hocevar shoots to the inside of the racetrack. He'll slide up in front of Heim. Heim up against the wall again, I believe, in turns 3 and 4. Cuts to the bottom of the track and tries to cross Hocevar over in the battle for 3rd as it continues on. Hocevar into the back of the 5 entering turn 1. That slows them both up in time. Majeski's going to get back by Hocevar, and after Carson Hocevar rocketed through the field up 11 positions on the restart, he's now gone back 2. He had some on-track contact with Majeski in the opening couple laps as well. Another big slider by Hocevar. He's trying to get by both Majeski and Heim at the same time. He cleared them both, but now Heim is back to the inside of the 77. Majeski's got pressure as well from Lane Riggs. This is an epic battle for 3rd, and now there's a crash as Lane Riggs did not successfully make a clean pass on Majeski, squeaked both trucks into the wall. Innocent bystander, looked like Andres Perez also collected. Oh my goodness. That got ugly quick. That was looking so good for so long. Lane Riggs tried to steal a spot from Majeski for, I believe, 5th place. Slide job, he was not clear. Both trucks up into the fence, and Perez was unable to get out of harm's way. All 3 trucks have quite significant damage. Caution flag is out for the 7th time.
Lane Riggs, Andres Perez got tore up into turn 1. Ty Majeski's truck really hurt. All 3 trucks having a really good night, and unfortunate ending for all of them.
Yeah, and we were watching Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar thinking that those two were the 2 trucks that were going to wreck. Well and behold, it was the 3 trucks behind them that all got tangled up.
Take a look here and see what happened. In the turn 1, you see Riggs on the bottom. You see them racing there.
Oh,
Race
just
finish.
wasn't clear.
Get up there. Obviously was not clear.
Yeah, and that's a tough one, Joey. It didn't look like the 88 truck went up the racetrack at all. It's like I mean, he came up a little bit, but Riggs was definitely committed to coming up the racetrack, wasn't he?
Riggs was going to be clear one
Yeah.
way or another. And you know who hurt this caution hurts one of these trucks the most, and it's going to be Lane Riggs, who has no tires.
Well, he's got no right side left.
Yeah. Or a right side, yeah. Well,
A bad break for Andres Perez too. I mean, he was up running in the top 6, put together a really good night, and kind of an innocent bystander on that one, right along with Lane Riggs.
He was a little frustrated.
But he just got
knows what happened.
Yeah, he got
you
green.
know, and none of that's on purpose, right? Like it's just hard racing. At the end of the race, he has an opportunity. He sees the front cars there in front of him where he can get a solid finish, and took a risk. And you know, we all make mistakes. We've all been there.
Yeah, I mean,
Not fun.
you have to be on offense in that scenario, and you drive in there and you think you're going to clear him, and you don't clear him, and you see him pounding on the steering wheel right there because he knows how important those points are, and he knows that every race matters, and that mistake cost the team a lot of points. But pit road is open this time, so those who have tires, which is pretty much everyone, they have sticker tires and they're 3-lap scuffs. So you've got some options. Obviously, you want to put those sticker tires on right now. 25 laps to go. I would assume you burn them right here.
I think so. Austin?
Yeah, we got Christian Eckes coming to pit road. Obviously, a couple of my guys involved in that crash, but Christian Eckes, they were the first one to tighten up the truck for this run, and we overshot it here. So now we're going to free it back up, maybe get better on the short run because he lost too many spots. Ricky?
Yeah, huge pit stop coming down for the 2 leaders. Caden Honeycutt has left pit road so far ahead the last couple pit stops. A lot of pressure on these guys. He's looking for an air pressure adjustment. Wants to turn a little bit better through turns 1 and 2. Ross Chastain, those guys are leaving everything alone. No fuel for Ross Chastain. Wants it to be lighter coming down the stretch, guys.
We used to see them all how they come off the pit road here. We got the box on Chastain and Honeycutt here.
Yeah, it looked like Chastain just had a little bit of trouble on the right side. You see Hosa beat him out. And I think this is going to make it interesting. Ross Chastain, Carson Hocevar trying to chase down Caden Honeycutt to win this race tonight. Gonna get exciting. We'll see what happens when we come back.
Caden Honeycutt wins another race off pit road. Every race won off of pit road tonight by that 11 truck. All 4 of them, 4 for 4 on the pit stops. Great job all the way around by that pit crew. And they haven't even been in the lead every single one of those stops going into, but they still came off pit road first every time. Obviously, having the lead the last couple times helps them a bit. And having that advantage at the front of pit road with Caden Honeycutt winning the pole award earlier this afternoon. We'll see if he can hold on. This is going to be interesting because Ross Chastain in that 45 truck is awesome on the short runs. And now we're not really going to have much of a long run left in this race anymore. We're probably going to have around 20 laps to go in the restart. And I think that's going to play into Chastain's favor. Carson Hocevar's as well, who's also had great short run speed. Honeycutt's going to have to master this restart. It appears that Connor Jones in the 42 might have stayed out of the pits. I believe he will have 1 set of tires left, holding out in case there's a caution. That last restart, Chastain was able to battle with Honeycutt, got to the lead, with Caden not being the control truck on that last restart on the front row, despite having to pass the truck on old tires at that time, which was Timmy Hill. We'll see what will happen this time. We're going to take our final break of the stream. You're listening live on KRC. Our full flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's race continues. Seven cautions, now 10 lead changes in tonight's race. 34 laps of yellow out of the 125 completed. Just over 20 laps to go at Darlington. Been a wild night. Quite a few yellows. But, you know, it's the truck series at Darlington. We've seen that before. It's a tough little racetrack. It's a tough racetrack to race the track itself when you have 35 other trucks out there with you. Makes it that much more difficult. Battling for position here probably far harder than any other track on the circuit. I've never driven one of these things at Darlington Raceway, but I can imagine that it is probably the toughest. And that's the reason why the track is too tough to tame as the nickname.
Back in time. Oh, goodness, I just think that's in color. That was a long time ago.
Mine, I was 18 in Talladega. Winter ride out here. I remember that race. 2012 Bristol for Brackets last racing. Young Cedric at 17. The elder statesman.
Man, Stenhouse waited a long time to try the truck series out. Why'd you wait so long, Ricky?
That was just the first opportunity I ever got. When I got into Roush Fenway Racing, we went ARCA Racing, and I think they shut the truck program down at that time and went straight to the back then Nationwide Series.
Well, we're gonna have another restart with someone staying out on old tires. We have Connor Jones, who was involved in a previous incident, so I don't believe had any tires left, right? So he's gonna stay out. Gonna pick the top. You're probably gonna see, 3 trucks, all the trucks at the bottom. Christian Eckes is gonna take it. You kind of have to if you're Christian Eckes.
Yeah, I mean, it's either start like, what would it be?
5 or 6.
Either 9th or 4th. I'd probably choose 4th.
Probably row 5.
They saw Timmy Hill pretty good, and he was 3rd off of turn 2. So that might not be a bad play for Eckes. Well, Goodyear is providing us with some great aerial coverage. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Legends aren't born, they're proven.
And this will be an interesting view from up here because I think we're about to see some chaos. We're coming to 20 laps to go. You got one truck on some older tires. You got Carson Hocevar, who we just watched, had a really, really fast truck there that last run. You got Caden Honeycutt, who has a long run truck, but he's got track position. And we got Ross Chastain that's right there behind all these guys as well. You got some aggressive racers all lined up. This is exactly what you want.
Well, they've all filled up with Sunoco race fuel with 0 carbon bioethanol for this, what could be the last restart.
All right, well, we'll see if it'll be the final restart. And we are down to exactly 20 laps to go. It's a little 20-lap main event heat to the finish. Green flag back in the air. Caden Honeycutt with the lead initially in the restart. Connor Jones did not move very well on the restart. And Honeycutt's got pressure now from the 77 as he nearly gets squeezed against the fence. And Carson Hocevar's got the lead up out of turns 1 and 2. And now up against the fence for good measure. Ross Chastain might have nudged the 11 in there. If Hocevar didn't squeeze him into the wall, Chastain certainly did. Caden Honeycutt out of the lead and now falls all the way to 4th. He's got a bit of a tire rub on the right side. Hopefully those tires will hold on to the finish. He's going to have a hard time just trying to make it to the end, let alone a shot getting back up there for the lead. Christian Eckes in 3rd. He has not had a good short-run truck tonight and only 20 laps to go, and now falling back to 4th is not the ideal situation for Honeycutt, who has led the most laps tonight, still in search for that first career win in the Truck Series. And it's the Cup regulars, Carson Hocevar, Ross Chastain, 1-2 at the head of the field. Showing a replay on Fox Sports 1 of exactly what happened on that restart. Connor Jones just didn't take off. Everybody scattered around him. And a great jump on the restart by the 77 of Hocevar as he beat the 11 to the inside well before entering turn 1. Slide job, a tight maneuver. kind of forcing the 11 to have to lift, and then the 45 squeezing the 11 up out of turn 2 into the wall. Like I mentioned already, for good measure. Honeycutt falls to 4th. He's trying to mount a comeback, but with 17 laps to go, I don't know if that's enough time for those tires to activate on the long run. It will help if the 77 and 45 of Hocevar and Chastain can get to racing one another, and we know if they're going to get close, it's going to be one heck of a battle. You got the two most aggressive drivers in the Cup Series today. In this truck race, I would imagine it's not going to be the cleanest battle amongst those two for the win if it comes down to it. Hocevar's advantage over Chastain right now about a half a second, 1.3 seconds to Christian Eckes in 3rd. Caden Honeycutt is 2.6 seconds back and forth, and Corey Heim still in 5th at 2.7 seconds out of the race lead. Honeycutt trying to put a battle back on Eckes through 3 and 4, not able to make the pass on the inside. Heim's coming with a run off the high side out of turn 4. 15 laps to go. Heim goes for 4th place into 1 and 2, but he's too far back, and a great run on the top of his own by Honeycutt. He'll circuit up out of turn 2. He should pull back away from Heim, and we'll see if he can get pressure back on the 91 again. Luckily, with the contact that he had, it doesn't look like the tire rub is causing a tire failure for Caden Honeycutt. His tires held on for about 5 laps, and I feel like as of this point, if he went this long, he should be good to go to the end. So while he got squeezed against the wall, it wasn't hard enough to necessarily take him out of things. Every pass he's going to have to make through the field is going to be ultra tough. At 91 of Christian Eckes throwing some big blocks down the front stretch and entering turn 1 to keep the 11 behind him, but Honeycutt's obviously quicker. Caden charges to the inside through 3 and 4. Looking to at least hang with the 91 and then attack in turns 1 and 2. A little bit of contact up out of turn 4, but he can't hang on him in side draft long enough, and we're down to just 13 laps to go. He's running out of time fast at over 3 seconds out of the lead. And Eckes is not doing him any favors and seems to be holding him up. The gap is still just under 0.6 of a second between Hocevar and Chastain, that last time by at the start-finish line. Honeycutt has led more laps in the truck race tonight than he has his entire Truck Series career combined. He was a rookie last season in the Truck Series, made it to the Championship 4, only had 57 laps led, and then here tonight, 60 at Darlington. Finally able to sweep by on the outside. He got by Eckes and up to 3rd place is Honeycutt, but at over 3 seconds out of the lead and only 12 laps to go, is there enough time to run down those top 2 of Ross Chastain and Carson Hocevar? 11 to go.
That's why you see these challenges.
Next 3 races, you have Darlington, Bristol. And you have the 3 events where you win this one, the next one, you could win $150,000 if you win 2 out of the 3. And you win all 3 of them, you could win $500,000. So great program, that NASCAR Craftsman Triple Truck Challenge. So fun to give these guys that opportunity. As the leader crossed the line, we've reached our Craftsman 10 to go. Snuck up on us quick, but it's 10 laps to go in this race.
Jeez.
Chastain is still right there.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar caught that lap truck in a really bad spot off of turn 2. Kind of had a pedal, had a lift. Both these guys ripping the fence over here at 3 and 4. Chastain's been able to inch in just ever so slightly, and we saw Carson's truck get really free right in the middle of 1 and 2. So 9 laps to go. These trucks are just going to drive a little bit worse each lap.
And the thing about a race like this, where you've been trying to take care of your truck all night, now you're willing to take all that risk. So if you know that the 77 is a little bit better than you, if you're Ross, you're going to put that thing a little bit closer to the wall and entry, a little more throttle through the middle of the corner, and take some chances to be able to try to figure out how to make that much more speed to get to him.
Again, remember, these 2 drivers not racing for points, only for the pride, the win, the money, everything that goes along with it. That's what they're racing for right now, and they don't really care about the risk too much. And he's doing a good job hanging right there. And we see these races at Darlington so many times come down to these late runs that the second place truck can make.
And this is when it becomes difficult. We got 2 trucks right there. And if
Oh
you
boy.
like Hosevar just did right there, it's going to affect
Lap traffic costing Carson Hocevar a ton of time through turns 3 and 4. He's going to have to swing out of line and make the pass into 1 and 2. Life is not easy for Hocevar getting into the corner, and here comes Ross Chastain. Battle is upon us with 7 laps to go here at Darlington. Chastain's about 2.5 to 3 truck lengths off of the lead down the backstretch and entering into turns 3 and 4. I am not counting third place Caden Honeycutt out of this race by any means. He might be too far back in the grand scheme of things to run these two down if it stays clean, but I don't believe it's going to stay clean, knowing it's Carson Hocevar and Ross Chastain at the front of the field, especially when they've got nothing to lose running in a different series, that being the Craftsman Truck Series event here tonight at Darlington. 5.5 laps to go down the back straightaway. Hocevar still leads by a couple tenths of a second. There will be more lap traffic before the finish of the race. And I'm sure both of these two are driving the absolute wheels off of their race trucks. Hocevar moves off of the top lane of the racetrack to try to get clean air on the nose of the lap truck. Chastain stayed around the top, and he's got to run down into the first turn, nose to tail. And as they enter turns 1 and 2, a sharper angle on entry for the 77 almost gets up against the fence. Chastain's going to win the race back to the gas, and he's going to get another run down the backstretch. A minimal run, but not big enough to try to make a move into 3 and 4 this time. He's going to have to try to find a way around him another time. Hocevar is nearly on that wall through 3 and 4. It looked like he was touching it. He was so close to the fence. Now oh, he's in the wall! Carson Hocevar is going to go around after contact with the fence. I almost wonder if he had a tire going down because he made contact with the wall in 3 and 4. It looked like he was close. And the caution flag's going to come out. With 4 laps to go. Ross Chastain to the lead. That was so odd.
We got a couple replays right here to
Yep.
Flat
tire.
Right, that's been kind of the name of the game here tonight. At some point on that restart, was there a little bit of contact that caused that right front fender to just kind of push on it? I don't think whatever was dragging in the back caused it to hit nose first. You think it would have swapped ends if it was something in the back of the truck? Instead, it kind of nosed in as the right front tire went flat.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be the chain dragging the ground on that's broke off to keep the rear end from drooping down. It could be. It's hard to tell exactly what is hanging down, but I don't think that. I think you're right. I don't think that had anything to do with this right front tire going down for sure. So, you heard Carson talk about this before the race, and this is Ross Chastain's team right here. Field goals right there. He never even had a reaction. He knows that could be him. He's like, I'm not celebrating nothing.
No, it's way too soon to be celebrating. 5 to go. Obviously, we're going to have less than that when this thing goes back green. They're going to have to clearance that right front a little better than that.
But we heard Carson talk about just the things that have happened to him at the end of these races and at this racetrack. He actually had mentioned it in his interview, to start the evening that he had with Austin. So frustrating ends. I mean, he did a great job, and that's never the part that he doesn't do well. He always races hard and puts himself in a position to have a chance. And tonight it was just bad luck. But did another one just break?
No, it's just still that piece sparking back there. Well, now we're going to have a restart with probably a green-white checkered.
Well, this brings Caden Honeycutt right back into the race.
Right back into it.
Yeah.
Now, this makes me think about choose. What lane are you going to choose?
I'm choosing the bottom.
I think if you're Honeycutt, I think on old tires, we've seen them spinning tires a lot. The outside lane seems to be spinning tires more than the bottom lane getting up to speed. I think I'm gonna have to pick behind the leader. So it's always hard not to pick the front row when you're second place. But I think in this case, I would be thinking pretty deeply about, okay, if I could just
Inside of row 2. I mean, that's what I would be thinking. It's worked out the restart for Hocevar. It worked out on the restart before that with Ross Chastain. The only commonality there was that not Corey Heim, Caden Honeycutt was the leader both times on the inside of row 1.
It's an all-studded three-team Rockman tournament featuring the best in the game. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox. That's pretty cool.
I don't know why they didn't invite us to play. Oh, you guys didn't know why. Okay.
Probably be pretty bad.
So
We can't catch, we can't throw, can't do much.
you're driving circles really well.
We got a little bit of audio from the 11 truck of Kate Honeycutt.
Bring it here, bud. Bring it. Feisty, isn't it?
Caden's a fiery guy. I mean, every time I've seen him race or been around him, he is a very intense guy.
I like it. And that's what you want, right? You want a driver that's on attack mode right now. It's coming to, you're basically going to have pretty much a green white checker or so. I mean, it's go time, man. You got to get after it.
All right, well, here are the overtime rules. You got basically a 2-lap shootout. The leader takes the white flag, the next flag ends the race. A caution flag flies prior to the white flag and causes restart. There are unlimited attempts at that. So we've seen it go both ways. I've seen the truck series when we had 3 green white checkers get it changed back, or unlimited green white checkers get it changed back to 1 green white checker, because at St. Louis we wrecked so many times that we basically ran out of trucks and they had to change the restart rule. But I like where we're at in today's world, but it's can go either way. You can see it go green, you can see it go one restart after another. So you got to get fired off on each one and try to get that track position that you need. And you're trying to take it away from Ross Chastain. That's not easy.
No, that's not easy, but we just heard Caden Honeycutt. His team did a great job there. They said reset, right? He didn't have quite the best start there prior. He was probably, fired up. His mind wandered. Didn't have a shot to win this race. Caution came out, reset. And as a driver, that's a great, especially as a younger driver. Like when you have your team tell you to do that, it just gets your brain ready for the next task, right? What is next? What do I need to focus on now? And now it's this restart, right? Okay, big decision coming up as we come to the choose. Where do I want to choose? Do I take the front row? That struggle on the top. Do I take the bottom? You hate to give up the front row, like Joey said, but on used tires, I feel like the bottom is just launched so well. Kate's gonna take top.
Wow.
So Christian Eckes, even now we've seen him as a long run truck, but these trucks have old tires on it, so
Well,
I like where he's at.
that it could go both ways, right? Like if Ross spins the tires and you get a nice steady roll, I think I think what he did a couple restarts ago when the other truck stayed out on old tires, he laid back as far as probably he should without getting a penalty. And I think in this scenario, you got to try to time it so that you guess right going to the restart zone.
And the thing is, I feel like the guy on the top, if he could just stay to the outside of the leader, he's going to win that battle, especially on old tires. But it's just the launch. It's the start finish line to turn 1 that is really the most important thing right here for the 11 truck. If he can stay outside somehow of them into turn 1, I think he's got a great spot to kind of clamp Ross, get him free. But I feel like if he loses that initial battle and initial launch, it's going to be really tough for him to take the fight to the 40.
He could be 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
Well, again,
All right, here we go. Overtime restart. Our first attempt of which, Ross Chastain, Caden Honeycutt on the front row for the Craftsman Truck Series in Darlington. Chastain, the control car in the restart. He was the leader at time of caution after Carson Hocevar from the lead at a flat tire. Green flag back in the air. Good launch on the outside of row one for Caden Honeycutt. Gets quick push from Ankrum. Also being pushed on the bottom, though, is Chastain, and he should be clear in the middle of 1 and 2. Ankrum piles into the wall, and we've got a big crash in the middle of turns 1 and 2 further back, and this is going to set up our second overtime.
They got to that point.
What happened there?
Still freezing.
And that actually could have been a lot. So I thought they were going to pile up like they did several years ago, where they had 8 or 10 trucks in that wreck. But they did a great job being able to only wreck a couple of trucks right there.
Tyler Ankrum, the whole left side's torn off of that one. I see a lot of trucks getting a lot of damage there. Not many of them spun out, but a lot of them definitely getting some damage. 25 of Corey LaJoy. Got some right side damage.
All right, let's see what happened right here.
And one thing is my phone is already flying. You can see
Ay,
it's
ay,
soft.
ay.
It's turn.
Yeah, it's just not much you can do there. I mean, for all these trucks behind him, they don't know he's on a flat tire, and they're just piling in.
Yeah, and he tried to slow up. When he felt the tire, when the truck didn't turn, he tried to slow up a little bit right there. Stacked them up a little bit, but we tore up some trucks, but man, that could have been a lot worse.
I think we got an onboard here from Justin Hanley. Who knows? Oh. It's here.
Austin?
All right, guys, I'm here with crew chief of the number 45 truck, Phil Gould. You've done all you can do to this point. You've been here, done this with Ross before. So, what are you looking for on these restarts, and how fun has it been to have a fast truck tonight?
It's been a lot of fun. It's hard to believe it's been 2 years from this race since we last won one. And yeah, just truck's been really good all night. Ross has done a heck of a job on restarts and keeping track position. And my nerves can't handle any more of these restarts.
Best of luck, Phil. Hope he has some good straight drive on this restart.
Phil Gould used to be the car chief on my 29 Goodrich car back in the day, so he's been around this sport for a long time. Great human, one of the hardest working people that I've ever been around in my whole career. And that man has the biggest hands you have ever seen in your life. And he will demolish you with his hands. Well, the guy that's chasing that 45 truck right there is Caden Honeycutt, who's trying to do something only 12 other drivers have done, score his first career pole and win in the same night. Actually, one of our counterparts tonight, Austin Sedgwick, did it back in 2017, CTMP. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
See?
Well, that's great.
We've had a fun race so far. We're going to do a little recaps from you guys. Started early with Ben Rhodes blowing a tire after a little bit of contact up into the wall.
And after that, Christian Eckes put together a great finish to stage one, coming from far behind, and was able to wrap that one up.
Caden Honeycutt with a very fast long run truck tonight, getting stage two. And we've had multiple wrecks after that. See this one that kind of started the cautions that we've now seen a few of after.
Yeah, and you see right there, Lane Riggs was not happy with his decision, and then Carson Hocevar in control of the race, leading the race, has a right front flat tire, and then wrecks.
Our most recent cause for the caution was 18 of Tyler Lane could win the turn one. Had a flat, nothing he could do, and piled in a handful of trucks though behind him.
Well, we had just talked about those overtime tendencies and how they would go, and I've seen it go that way more than I haven't at this racetrack. It's just when you get the opportunity to go down into turn one and there's 4 or 5 different lanes, and everybody forgets that they don't have new tires on, and everything that could go wrong can go wrong. That one actually right there was probably not really anybody's fault. It's just a unfortunate flat tire and timing of it.
Yeah, I agree. And so we're going to re-rack them again. And again, you're going to start thinking about the choose. If you're one of these drivers, you're thinking, okay, all right, Chastain, it's a no-brainer. He's going to go to the bottom, but what is Honeycutt going to do? And all some of these other guys, it's going to be a tough call. Austin, you got anything?
Oh, you guys are talking about chooses and launches and all these other things, and Timmy Hill's played a sneaky move. He's got the only new tires in the field. He got up to 14th on that last restart. Could be a fun 2 laps for Timmy Hill.
Wow. He's hoping for maybe one more caution. I mean, he's going to be ripping, but he doesn't have much time.
No, he doesn't have much time, but I mean, really, what you need is them to get fanned out as quick as possible off of turn 2 to be able to utilize whatever lane that they're not in. I mean, when you get newer tires compared to everybody else at this track, you feel like Superman.
Just needs space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good find, Austin. We did not see that.
It's all those carrots that he ate earlier.
I saw it.
Made his vision really good.
What happened?
Superpowers.
Well, here we go. I think we're coming to the choose here. Let's see what the top 4 or 5 trucks do here. Pretty interesting. She's going back up to the outside lane. Honeycutt is kind of a replay of what we saw just a minute ago.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be harder for Honeycutt to play the same game that he played last time. Now that Ross knows what he's trying to do. I mean, if it was, I would fire as soon as I got to the line, just to try to not let him rule me.
Well, I think Ross recognized that Honeycutt was trying to roll the start, right? He was trying to time him, and Ross went really late in the box last time. He just kind of let him get up there and lift before he went, and Honeycutt did a good job timing it to where he hung okay, right? He got beat on the push more than the actual launch.
And I think he's right on the verge of that roll was, I mean, it was right on the edge of being too far. So I think that he did a good job. I'm not saying that he went too far last time. I'm just saying that the game's got to be different from the 45 this time, because I don't think he has any other chance up there of being able to launch with it.
It's the only game he's got.
That's the only game he's got.
And it's scary because how far do you go before NASCAR makes a call? You don't know, right? It's kind of a sketchy place for a driver to be here.
All right, Pace Truck is on pit road. Our second attempt at an overtime restart. Same rules as before, and same 2 drivers on the front row as before, Chastain and Honeycutt. Ross Chastain, the control truck on the inside lane. Launches in the middle of the restart zone this go-around. Green flag back in the air. He's got a great push, and Caden Honeycutt's got no help as he is going to fall out of the top 2 positions into the first turn. It is Christian Eckes up to second place. Honeycutt on the outside trying to go for third still. Chastain's got a little bit of a gap as they exit turn 2 down the back straightaway. His distance between himself and Eckes in second, about a truck length and a half. Big move to the inside by Corey Heim, going for third place underneath of Caden Honeycutt. Honeycutt should have a decent run off turn 4. Eckes loses ground to Chastain, backing everybody up for second. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Off into the first turn. Corey Heim up to second place as he makes very quick work of Christian Eckes, who's got nothing for the 2 trucks ahead of him. Heim's got one last shot into 3 and 4, and he is going to sail it off to the bottom of the racetrack. If he gets this to stick, what a move it's going to be. He's clear off turn 4, and Chastain's not going to get him back. Corey Heim is going to steal the win at Darlington. It's Heim time again. I thought he was too far back. I didn't give him any kind of a shot. He rockets into second place in turns 1 and 2. And in 3 and 4, a slide job from probably 3 truck lengths back clears Ross Chastain cleanly. It was a clean move and wins the race. That was unbelievable. That crowd's got to be going ecstatic. The things that this guy can do behind the wheel of a race truck is unfathomable. Corey Heim. Looked like he had an extra gear in his race truck. How did that happen? I believe he was inside of row 2. No, he would have been inside of row 3 on the restart and wins the race. Unbelievable. Margin of victory around 1/10 of a second between Heim and Chastain. Heim did lead earlier in the race, but he hadn't led since stage 1 up until the race win. I didn't end the chat poll earlier, and 33% of you voted for Corey Heim to win the race tonight. So congrats to those of you that took Heim. He was the highest voting go-getter in the poll. Oh my gosh. It's Heim time, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is.
Races, as you see right there for 311, but I've been beating this drum for a couple years. Kid is ready to go truck racing. He's done everything that he can do at this level. Love the way he carries himself. It's a show. What a heck of a show.
I'm gonna get the flag to the lucky fan.
Let's get it down to Ricky.
Corey Heim talking to David Gilliland here. Corey, where did you come from? That was an unreal finish to this Darlington race. Back-to-back wins for you here. Different team, different crew chief on the box. You had to work hard for this one.
Yeah, I'm out of breath for sure. Man, we had those, set of scuffs laying, and there were 5 laps fresher than everyone else's. I was like, it's worth a shot. I don't think we can win from where we're at, and damn, sure enough, I just felt like I made all the right moves. We had 3 wide and 3 there coming to the wide, and bombed it off in there on Ross. I was shocked he gave me the bottom like that with fresher tires, but I'm so out of breath. But thankful for Chicon Garage. Thought we could get this number 5 Tundra in victory lane. I didn't even know I was racing this race until 3 weeks ago. Frontline came aboard and helped me out with this deal. So I love racing. I love winning, and just drove the crap out of it, and it worked out.
Man, it was an exciting finish for us. I guess my next question is, are you going to talk these guys into letting you run for another triple truck challenge? That was 50 grand to you and the boys. Got another one in you?
I would absolutely love to if they'd have me back. We'll see. Hopefully, Frontline, really anyone who wants to come on board, I don't care. I just want to drive the thing. So that was awesome. Just had a blast. I love Darlington. I love racing, and just want to do it more often.
Well, cool. Thanks for putting on a show. Congrats to you and your guys. Man, what a race. That was an exciting...
Unbelievable. Yeah, what a finish. Corey Heim with the race win. We'll go through the full field finishing results here and then head out for the night. After Heim in first was Ross Chastain finishing second. Christian Eckes third. Caden Honeycutt fourth. Connor Mosack rounding out the top 5 and fifth. Christopher Bell steals a 6th place finish out of a kind of a good start, rough middle, good finish. Grant Enfinger in 7th, Gio Ruggiero 8th, Daniel Hemrick 9th, William Sawalich rounds out the top 10. We didn't really talk about AJ Allmendinger at all tonight, but he finished 11th. Lane Riggs in 12th, Tanner Gray 13th, Timmy Hill 14th, and Justin Haley 15th. Connor Jones in 16th, Chandler Smith 17th, Frankie Muniz 18th, Dawson Sutton 19th, and 20th was Brendan Queen. Corey LaJoy in 21st, Carson Hocevar 22nd, Jake Garcia 23rd, Tyler Ankrum 24th, and 25th, Stuart Friesen. Justin Carroll 26th was the last truck on the lead lap, then Caleb Costner in 27th, Cole Butcher 28th, Clayton Green 29th, Spencer Boyd in 30th. And then everybody 31st on back DNF tonight, so 6 DNFs total. Ty Majeski in 31st, Andres Perez 32nd, Chris Wright 33rd, Minnie Tyrell 34th, Josh Ream 35th, and Ben Rhodes with the DNF on lap 2, finishing 36th. 14 lead changes, 9 cautions, 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 37 seconds total time on tonight's race. 47 laps of yellow, 2 overtimes as we went past our 200-mile, 147-lap scheduled distance. It's Heim time yet again. Another win. I believe he was tied for 6th all-time in the Truck Series entering tonight, so now he's 6th all alone on the Truck Series all-time win list as he continues to rack them up even in a part-time effort following his championship a year ago. Thank you to everybody watching tonight's stream. We'll be back at Better Than Ever again tomorrow. Double header between Cup practice and qualifying, and then the O'Reilly race. Our next stream at 2:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for the practice and qualifying stream for the Cup Series. We'll also be live for the O'Reilly race at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Cup on Sunday for the race at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. See you for all that and much more. Like, if you haven't done so yet, thank you for allowing us to get to our like goal of 50 likes. We're at 74 on the way out. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. Road to 8,000 subs. See you next time, everybody.